So I was just sitting having a lofty communication with Spirit and offering how I can put out my next message and what that was going to entail with some downloads. And they suggested that we, over the next week, really soften into, which we have to do all the time. I know those of us that have been born way showers and light workers, we've been born into very challenging situations in which we've been playing healer and teacher and modifier and transmuter. And even at the youngest of ages, those were the roles that we played for most of our lives. You know, understanding information and energy and emotions at a very deep and complex level, which is why most of us have been brought forward in these amazing, profound times of new leadership, leadership transitions, shifting of wealth to those that have, you know, prepared themselves and have gone through the initiations of proving themselves to be worthy of these grand scales of service and really being leaders of new service, new ways of service, which has not been ever shown throughout the leaderships and in any of our countries. We've seen very little higher vibrational leadership through which they are aligned with the higher self. And really the shift on our planet is the unfolding of all things being spirit, all that we are as spirit, the tissue, the organs, our DNA, our brain, how our brain functions moving through light, how our brain functions moving through higher embodiment of consciousness, the omnipresent and the consciousness reality of all creation speaking to us as it's moving through its new harmonics and its new bedding of harmonics. Where we're being placed within the galaxy, in the planetary galactic bedding, there is a new harmonic resonance, which we're seeing many things on the planet that have just come out that have been amazing discoveries. So you'll see that if you tune in every week and say, can you show me the new discoveries that my consciousness is tuning into based on your consciousness awareness awakening. There's been many, I'll just give you a few of mine, there's been many ancient cities and civilizations that have been unearthed because I've had a history of archaeological excitements. And many of us have been on those ancient cities and ancient tribes that are now becoming unearthed. Many of the shifts on the poles and the wobble of the poles, again, the social issues that are so important for us to tap into and begin healing, beginning to create infrastructures for new healing systems of higher vibrational modalities that are including some traditional options, and some obviously have to be healed from a higher vibrational modality with light and sound. Lots going on with tonal harmonics and healing. So many studies. If you go onto the Gaia channel, there's lots there with sound healing and a lot of the studies that are being done on sound healing. And so a lot of the aspects that we're learning and we're now harmonizing in is a new version of bedding of harmonics that's speaking back to us. And again, all of these things are shown in studies. If you look up any consciousness studies, how creational reality is speaking to us as we are speaking it, and therefore thus then be very aware of what you're putting out as a vibration, because it is returning. There's a lot of great videos on Gaia. There's a lot of great videos on YouTube of higher consciousness studies. Greg Braden, if you watch any one of his videos, he talks a lot about the consciousness evolution. He is very aligned. He's very aligned to his higher self. And then again, there's some great videos on Gaia, the Gaia channel, that you can do some extra research on your own about what consciousness really is, how you're allowing yourself to move into a new frequency of where you're at in your own evolution, what discoveries you've made on your own. Ascension is all about who are you, what you exist within, what's going on within you, and how you're evolving beyond what was, how you're evolving beyond anything that you've ever been taught, told, or shown, because all of those pillars are moving and they're shifting out. And so they wanted me to kind of focus on this beautiful, soft musing this coming week, because this is a very powerful week that we're coming into. And then it's moving up into August 8th. Is the continued relationship and the continued building of synchronization with the higher self as the higher light body sheaths and the higher self sheaths are coming on to harmonize and merge with the physical aspect of who you are. The physical anatomy is always affected by light, just as too it's always affected by darkness and negativity. And as we said, those that have been practicing in the lower vibrational conjuring and spell work, your matter and the bodies, as I said in many of my posts this week, because I was being shown of the physical damages, many of the damages that are done through forced brainwashing, lower vibrational cult groupthink, really low vibrational, misguided, dogmatic teachings, spell work, conjuring, black magic, voodooing, chanting, and all of those things. It really forces the body chemistry and the matter, especially the brain synapses. It really forces a depression and a compression into what should be free flowing and honoring light to move all through you. Especially as we're accelerating into more of a light bedding, the consciousness bedding that we're moving into is such a higher vibration. And so if you're forcing that vibration to be forced into a conjuring statement that is of negativity, or forcing something to happen for you or for somebody else, you're not allowing the full magnetic mysteries of the universe to create miracles. Your ego mind and your ego wounding and your insecurities, or the lack of sense of self, or your insecurities about rejection or somebody leaving you, or all of those little vibrational woundings, which are very important because they're psyche woundings, all of those are for you to heal, because there's no spell, there's no conjuring that's going to fix anybody coming back to you. That wound is still going to be there. Anybody that you think is going to be forced to come hither, and cock blocking and all of the things that you do as a scheme to get someone to be with you, it's not going to heal those deep-seated lack of self, no sense of self woundings, no self-design, no self-importance, no self-worth. So you have to heal. You'll always be brought back by tower moments. Your teams will not allow the magic to work. They'll close all of those gifts and skills off if you think that's a skill. And then they'll allow you to sit in that tower moment of you loving you, of you creating that self-worth for you, and you creating the new self-design. So that's why I've said for a very long time now, once you understand creational reality and understand the damages, the damages on the brain, the damages in the multidimensional bodies, the damages on your potential, and how light is just moving through you to release all of those negativities and densities, you're meant to be in the surrender of a free-flowing new aspect of who you are, and discovering who you are and just surrendering. You're meant to be in utter 100% surrendering to your higher self. Your higher self always knows what's next for you. Your higher self knows what needs to be healed next. Your higher self knows your potential for creating. Your higher self knows that you are connected with all spirit, all realms, all dimensions. So if you just let go into the knowledge of the higher self, the ego could never ever manifest your direction. The ego does not know how to guide you through ascension. The ego has no clue. The ego only knows what it knows from a 3D practiced and trained experience. Spirit is the one that lifts you higher to higher vibrational thought patterns. Again, capacity and aptitude. You have to train yourself into higher vibrational thought patterns to becoming that higher vibrational version of yourself, and then discovering yourself new every day. And so when you're looking at your overall journey since you were born, what discoveries have you led and found out about yourself that nobody really shows you or tells you? Because self-discovery and self-enlightenment, self-actualization, where are you on your journey and where are you going to go next? That is always in this now presence. But you have to have that reflective, objective kind of experience to look back and say, wow, these things I've found out about myself. I am so perseverance. I am so dedicated to what I know to be true, and I'm not going to waver from what I know to be true, and what I know I feel I'm worthy. That statement is something that not only you're standing for, but that the ones that you're leading behind you as the way show are clearing and cutting away all the densities of subjugation. And so you're there for this coming week, if you can, really look at your own self-discovery and what you've found out about you and your path, and look at it from that that sacred triad, as well as your multidimensionality. What have you discovered about your physical, mental, emotional, etheric, causal, sexual? What do you feel about who you are now? And it has nothing to do, again, with the outer projecting anything to you. Because everything that you are in alchemy of harmonization of this new version of bedding that we're moving into, because it is a higher refined light. And that higher refined light will give you, it's very surreal, and it's very malleable, manifesting a lot quicker. You have a lot more effect on matter. This is why my teams have been really pushing this point forward for the last 2 years. We are going to have a lot more effect on physical matter, the higher in vibration that we become. That's why it's important through all of my trainings that I've been offering is to be as high aligned as possible, so that you're not manifesting matter in really horrendous, unhealed, really self-loathing experiences. Because the more loving and self-valuing you are of you, which can only be found within, that's a discovery that can only come from within. The self-discovery of who you are is only done within. Nobody gives that to you. Nobody gives you those answers. You have to sit and do that you have to do that discovery work. You have to excavate those experiences, excavate the challenges, excavate the triumphs. What did you learn in that triumph? What was that triumph? What did that triumph hold for you? Did it hold liberation of voice? Did it hold liberation of learning how to care for your body in new ways? Did it hold liberation of speaking in front of those that have always held power, but now you're seeing the shift of the power because the powers have been corrupt and they haven't held the greater good in hand? What are the self-discoveries that you're doing in the connection of the sacred triad, the heavens and the councils? And one discovery that came to me was that through everything that I've been through, as dark and as treacherous and as tormenting as it has been, the one discovery that I know, and this is how come I can speak so profoundly on it, is there's always spirit. There is always a spiritual hand. There's always a spiritual alliance. There is always a spiritual light factor. There's always a portal of getting up. There's always a portal of being new. There's always a portal of offering from spirit, source, creator, the all that is, the omnipresence. There is always a getting up. There is always brand new. No matter how challenging, no matter how dark, no matter how dense, no matter how many towers, no matter how much isolation, no matter how much, whatever the outside minutia is, there is always that offering of here's something new, make something of it. And it's not anything that comes from outside. That is you getting up every day and saying, okay, let's try this from a different perspective. What angle can I view this from? What angle can I see myself from? Because everything outer is inner. And that is the big flip of the reality that we're seeing this summer. There will be so many people that have been staunch disbelievers of anything to do about Source and God. They will absolutely see within their own life's working. The only way that things have unfolded the way they have is because the miraculous hand of Spirit, of God, of Source Creator. There is a magical influencer of everybody's life. Everyone has a divine destiny. Everybody is sacredly and elegantly designed. Everybody has their capacity to design themselves a brand new. And again, that is not taking in any aspect again, we want to make this very clear because karma is hitting very quickly. You cannot force anybody to be in your life or play your story or play your characters, because that again is immediate karma. And a lot of the vibrational groups and a lot of even the governments and a lot of those in power, they're relooking, they're showing me, thank you, Holy Spirit, thank you, Holy Spirit, thank you, Holy Spirit. They're showing me a lot of those that are in government that are looking at their ways that they have led, if you will. And they're really looking at it from a new perspective of how can we abide by the laws that they've already written in the human, alignment of human laws, if you will, and then align that higher law of the universal laws. So there has been a great profound shift forward. There are some leaders that are taking heed on the changes that need to occur. There are changes that absolutely need to occur, and there has to be balance brought. The balance has to be brought forward. Divine feminine and the children and nature have to be brought back into the forefront. Healing has to be a number one priority. And that's a discovery. How curious are you? How curious are you about things moving around in your environment and you see things unfolding in your reality? As we said, the correlation. You're awakening when you can correlate. When you see things unfolding in your social creative collective, or you see, as we said earlier, these really archaeological, incredible finds of these cities that are being unearthed that have never been discovered before, because our consciousness is waking up. As our consciousness heightens, the dark and the things that were earthed over, from many eons, for many different reasons, because they all hold vibration. But these cities are now ready to be seen and known. So we're going to be finding out the histories are going to be so different. We're not the historical beings that we thought we were. We're much different. And many of us have come here with, as Spirit has often showed me, and I'm showing all of you, and I'm being the inspirator for many of you as Spirit is for me, because it's a constant. That's what I am as a conduit. I'm a messenger. I'm a bridge between many cosmic realms and many cosmic experiences and entities that are our celestial families, our alien families, our angelic families. We all come from Source Creator. We belong on many different planets, many different realms, many different dimensions. And the more that you're awaking into this higher self harmonization of who you are, the infolding of you, you allow yourself to know that I am all things, I am all aspects, and we become with this higher version of intelligence that is emotionally connected with all aspects of life, because we want all life to be flourishing. We want all life to be abundant, because if we're stampering and we're suppressing and we're depressing any one aspect of life, especially divine feminine, you are suppressing the very waters of earth. You are suppressing the very nature of the light that the children need for their evolution. Which I've said this over and over since my earliest days of KCOR. You can go back and listen to my very early KCOR recordings. When a divine mother is attacked in any way, whether the children see the mother being beaten in a home, whether the children have covert abuse in the home, black magic in the home, they're being affected by it, their lymphatic systems are affected by it, their neural pathways are affected by dark magic and voodoo and all of those conjurings that go on in the home. Even if one person does it somewhere else, they come home and their field is, their energetic field, physical, mental, emotional, and etheric fields are filled with negative, dark mess. And the children feel it. The children feel and sense what's going on, and it doesn't feel safe for them. The children are affected in every way by black magic and voodoo, and it is negligent. It's negligence to the child that needs light, that needs safety, that needs to be held in honoring and not hearing and knowing in the field that there's conjuring going on to take out their mother, or to have their mother in poverty so the mother comes crawling back to the old ex-husband, which is ridiculous. Why would any woman that barely escaped want to ever go back to somebody that does spell work every day to force them to be what they want them to be? Zero liberation and zero allowance and zero expression and zero respect and zero honor. I mean, it just goes on and on. It's just absolute enslavement and subjugation. Absolute misogyny in its worst form. Domination, control, absolute disgusting enslavement. And the children feel it on every level, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And it affects their lymphatic system because it overstresses their system. And their system becomes so overstressed that when they're actually in a really stressful situation, they don't know how to react. So they gave me a download. I'm not going to share it right now because it's a very, it is an in-depth download that requires more channeling around it. And it was about those children that act out in society in very dangerous ways. And it's very enlightening because they are the way showers for us to wake up to how we have ostracized the uniqueness of expression. Those of us that are hybrids, high functioning, crystals, empaths, indigos, how we have a unique expression, how we are higher connected to spirit, how we have those natural orientations to higher vibrational information and intellect that we can't put into words, and it's not put into a test in 3D form because higher vibrational intellect is not a 3D test. You can't put a hybrid intelligence into a 3D test and say, we want you to fit into our box. We want to test to see where you're at. But hybrid intellect and an empath intellect or a conduit intellect is not a 3D test because it's very linear and it doesn't have anything to do with cosmic multidimensional consciousness of information, of being that direct pillar of light to all consciousness throughout all the galaxies in the multiverse. When you have a higher interfacing with spirit, which your high functioning people do, that interfacing gets you that allowance of higher information, but it's up to us to practice how we allow that information to be expressed because everybody before us has a different level of consciousness. So we have to bring forward the highest vibrational information possible, but also have it as simple as possible for everyone to kind of take what they can from it. But it is Christ consciousness information. Even when you go away and you might not think that any of the information made sense, you can go to bed tonight or tomorrow night or the night after and you'll have a consciousness awakening because what I'm offering are Christ conscious codes. It has nothing to do with religion. It is the codes that go into all that is multidimensional light and multidimensional life that is the breath of Source. Source Creator has the codes from all star systems, the codes from all planets, the codes from all realms, and it's held within your DNA. I bring forward absolute universal truths that is a part of who you are at the core of your being. But it's up to you to excavate that. It's about you to go in and say, what is my self-discovery on who I am as a universal being? And then you can let go of the small minutiae of beliefs, of separatism, like religion. Religion is a separative experience. It doesn't matter what religion you belong to, it's still separative because you're saying, this is I am, and I'm not this, and I'm not that, and I'm not this. Or you could just be all. And how about you move to a higher consciousness? That higher consciousness for the collective of our entire planet is now unearthing very ancient cities that were never talked about or told about or even knew about. So too is the understanding through some of us that have the ability to channel and talk with those that are the highest healers for the planet evolutionary series of intellect, understanding, psychology. It's a very complex experience. The children that are on our planet are very high vibrational, and they're encoded in their DNA. They have a different DNA allocation than all past histories, of course. We're empaths, we're hybrids, we have a higher DNA for celestial and alien code because we're here to uplift the planet. We're here to bring saving grace healings. We're here to bring saving grace wisdoms that transcend those humans that so desire to be in an eternal light experience and remember who they are, to start activating their light body, to start activating who they are with Source Creator, to start activating who they are in the relationship and the communion of all that is spirit. And again, it has nothing to do with religion. Spirit is all things that are life. Spirit is the movement of the harmonics of all creation. Spirit is the movement of the creational vibration in all planets, of all food, of all life, of all trees, of all forest. It is the abundance of all life. That's the Divine Mother. That is the mother energy of the abundance of all things. Now, if a child sees that that mother is being abused in any way and knows it subconsciously that that mother is being attacked, that child goes into a shutdown mode. It's consciousness, because that child knows that it was brought in life as the mother. It was fed and nourished and adored by the mother. It was shown how to walk and talk by the mother. It was shown how to feed and eat by the mother. It was shown how to clean and clear the challenges of every day by the mother. Because traditionally what had occurred is the men were usually at work earning the money, if you will, and the women were at home being the nurturers and the givers and the raisers of the children. Every family is different, of course, because every mother has different stressors that they have to live through. We talked about in one of our videos a while ago the adaptations and the imbalances that have been brought due to the deep misogyny on our planet, the oligarchy on our planet, the deep imbalances on our planet, and the absolute disregard for divine feminine, and how those stressors have put such a negative adaptation for divine feminine, and how divine feminines are viewed, engaged in the entire planet collective. That's why the Adam Eve Project was very important for me to bring forward a couple of years ago. So go back and listen to any of my videos about the Adam Eve Project. So in this, they were showing me, thank you, Holy Spirit, those energies that are any mother that is being attacked by covert occult abuse, constant and relentless abuse. Those children feel it at a subconscious level, and it does affect their lymphatic, because we all know as mothers, you're connected etherically, you're connected energetically to your children, and you always will be. That cord will never ever leave you. Those cords are with you for your entire realm of creation throughout all timelines. That's why when you connect with higher vibrational spirits, when you're asking about your children from the Pleiades, that cord is how those higher vibrational Pleiadians or angelics or Archangel Michael or Jesus or whoever you're channeling, they follow that cord, because that cord is always there. It never goes away. The cords of your children never go away. You are their lifeline. This is why certain earth angels are placed before many dark cults and societies and communities, because we're there to inspire and ignite Christ consciousness. We're not there to be used as a battery source. We're not there to be used and abused. We're not there to be harvested from. We're not there to be stolen from and raped vibrationally. We're not there to be schemed and plotted and planned relentlessly every day for decades, just to see if we are who we say we are, just to say if we're as strong as we are, and how did we survive 82,000 sacrifices and 300 rituals and $1 million spent on spell work. That is just, that's just sick, torturous enslavement, that when you actually put it on a piece of paper and draw it out, it blows your mind that people would actually do this. And the children feel that. The children have absolute effect in that, because their mother is who they rely on their light for and with. Same too as their father, but not as much as the mother, because innately, through the cords of the mother breathing all life, they know that that life force is through that mother. So if the father is not working on their karmic energies, they're not working on their divine feminine masculine energies, they're coming in and living in chaos every day through deceit, lies, manipulation, spell work, binding, falsification, defamation stories, and then doing spell work on top of that to attack the mother, to come back and be with them, or to come back and be a part of their sex coven, or to come back and harvest with them, or to come back and be their battery source so they can steal and take from you, while they take everything and live a secret underground life while the divine feminine is left for dead on the floor. being given absolutely no credit for the work that she does and the divine being that she is, being given absolutely no credit for the healer and the divine intelligence that she is, just to be used and abused, raped and thrown away. And these are the damages and adaptations that everybody on our planet is now seeing. And in every channel, the heavenly councils and the galactic federations and the systems of light tell me. It is very important, more paramount than anything, that we get this law number 2. The law of balance is so vital right now on our planet. And how is every day, every hour, divine feminine being abused, ignored, not heard? How has one divine feminine healer, her entire story for 6 years, speaking of the same thing, wanting justice, asking for justice, going through the roots of legal, going through the roots of the, the social systems in the communities, and there being absolutely not 1 ounce of return, not 1 ounce of return for justice. Just more and more groups impaling hate and impaling their targeting on the Divine Mother, that because I'm also a multiverse healer, I'm a multiverse conduit, I'm a teacher, I'm a teacher for the entire multiverse. Every time I'm on this line, I'm not only giving information and wisdoms of a multiverse experience of universal truths, I'm also teaching in the realms of the multiverse. I teach with multitudes of beings and species in the multiverse. So they tune in every time that I go on live in a human form, because I am a multiverse teacher. And so when you target that and when you attack that, it affects and it creates a bottleneck for the entire multiverse. And so those that are on the line, those that continue to bring harassment and negativity on my line, there's many great channels out there. There's like millions of YouTube channels. Go find another channel. Keep your hate, keep your derogatory comments, keep your satanic cult hate comments, keep them off my channel. I'm sending all of your IP addresses and they're all being logged. There are investigators of the Most High that are even above those that are corrupt. Even the corrupt leaders, there are those that are watching the corrupt leaders. Everybody's being watched. The abuse that I have taken, the abuse that goes on daily, the abuse that continually comes on my platform is beyond 100-fold what any other platform gets. If you go to Daniel Scranton's channel, he did a live just the other day. He did a live channel, which he rarely does. He doesn't do live channels. He did a live channel just the other day, and you go on and see how many hate comments that he gets. And then you come onto one of my live channel and you see how many hate comments and how many people call me old and ugly and how many people call me crazy because they're trying to get my money and they're trying to get finances signed over and they're trying to get their corrupt court cases overthrown to have me look crazy. And yet I'm the same channeler that done in a divine masculine body. They don't get any feedback whatsoever. They're allowed to speak as they speak. Their platforms are always opened up. They don't get hate comments. Go look at Lee Carroll's channel. Go look at Daniel Scranton's channel. They are both channels. Go look at Daryl Bashar. They are all channelers. They use light language. They talk to celestials. They talk to aliens. They talk to higher vibrational beings just like I do. And yet I'm constantly impaled with hate, misogyny, neo-Nazi hate contexts, and they're constantly. Every person that comes on a comment, they get paid to hate. They get paid to bring in hateful comments. So how is this okay? So in this live video, those that are higher than the corrupt people that are paying these people to come on and press these hate comments, they are being financed. So who's financing? They're all getting karma. All of their magic, all of their comments, all of their hate is being returned. And even those people that are financing, everybody's being watched by higher and higher people. And you will be pulled out. There will be law courts. There will be court cases. And I will be suing everybody for defamation, for blasphemy, for hate, for discrimination. This has been going on for decades. And I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of the hate. So why doesn't Daniel Scranton or any other male channeler, why don't they have any of those comments? Why aren't the male channelers ever attacked? Why is it only me? Because I'm calling the corruption out. because I'm calling those secret societies out. So I want you to all understand the balancing of your own extinction, the balancing of your own adaptation, the balancing of the next timeline you come into, the balancing of the life you come into, the balancing of your body you come into, the balancing of the innocent children that don't deserve your ignorance. The children don't deserve such ignorant hate. Their lives are going to be cut short, and they sometimes these children do act out in social settings that end up taking lives because they are so beaten up and they're so chastised by idiots that just spew hate. My life is affected every day by that hate. Go look at Daniel Scranton's live video that he just did the other day. Not only do I have to survive my ex's sex cult coven and their attacks every day for me to come back and be a part of their harvesting sex disgusting experiences, and because I said no, I get punished by spell work and voodoo. But all the other groups that are trying to make me shut up because I'm calling out their trafficking, I'm calling out their secret society corruption, by which, if they had any intelligence and they actually drew it out, I'm saving their own extinction. And they don't get it. All they care about is the money that's coming in or not coming in. If their children see the abuse that they do to divine feminine, their children would never ever incarnate to any of them. That's how vile and ignorant and hateful these people are. No child would ever incarnate back to people that spend their entire days obsessively and cruelly attacking one divine feminine. And I have to transmute it every day. And they just can't wait for me to look crazy and for me to look this and for me to look that. Meanwhile, they're the ones with their voodoo dolls and their cloaks and their daggers and spending millions of dollars, hundreds of people, millions of dollars to take me out in any way they can. And everybody is being investigated. Because there are those that take this case very seriously, and they're going to bring down every corrupt person. Because those that spew hate, you have no idea, but there are millions of children that rely on me and my light. Because I have such wisdoms that have never been brought forward on this planet, and this planet needs my wisdoms and my light. And that's what I've discovered about myself. I know I'm a profound teacher. There has been so much discrimination and so much attacking. And I'm asking, go take a look at any of the male channelers that are profound, beautiful channelers, and they're a part of my soul family. One of the reasons why in the higher realms Daniel did a live was to show the difference of no abuse that they get and the abuse that I get. He doesn't do lives. And Spirit is showing me one of the reasons why he went live was to show the difference of respect that a divine masculine gets than a divine feminine. And these people that hire people to hate me, all of their stories were 100% false and untrue. They were defamation, blasphemous stories. None of these people had ever met me. None of these people ever read any of my books. None of these people ever sat and had a discussion about me or know anything about my life in any way. I'm the voice of all the children that get abused and forgotten, and the women that don't make it. And it doesn't matter how much I bring forward and how much inspiration and how much intelligence and how much divine blessings I bring forward. There will be men that will never, ever, ever see credit in divine feminine, and they will never give divine feminine credit. They will just keep hating. And that shows where their wounds are, not how profound divine feminine is. And I was brought forward as a profound tool to say, if we don't change the imbalances on our planet, planet Earth is in for some really, really tough extinctive times. Everybody deserves their worthiness, to be honored and heard and listened to. When you have an important message and you get to speak it and you get to be impassioned by it, and you do your best every day, and every day you come on and there's nothing but blocks and hurdles and obstacles times 100 than any man has to go through. There's never been any fairness. It's been absolutely unfair. Look up the research. Go do your own research. Go look at the channels of the men that channel live and the women that channel live and see the difference in responses. And Spirit will lift those that have the most important message, that are vibrationally aligned, because it is Mother Father's plan. I've come forward with nothing to prove. I never have. I have great healing systems. I know who I am as a leader. I know who I am as a multiverse teacher, and I'm teaching many planets in many realms. I know that. I know what I see. I know what I'm given by source. I'm a very important player in the multiverse. That's all I care about, is who I am with the systems of light and who I am with Mother, Father, God. And the messages I bring are really important. And I'm not going to continue to be put in front of ignorant people that all they want to do is be paid to hate me and to be paid to take me out with their voodoo and their chakra impalements and their hate as they're throwing it as every time I go live. What did I do to ever deserve any of this? Just by simply speaking truth? That there's corrupt secret societies that take hits out on people and then they get paid? So I'm saying, keep doing what you're doing and there will be extinction. You will not have a balanced planet with the corruption that is continuing. You will not have a balanced, longevity, evolutionary, uplifting planet when everybody is sick and diseased because of black magic and voodoo and occult abuse. And it's going to come out. And everybody involved and the details involved is going to blow so many people away on how much abuse and how deep it was. Hello, sweetheart. And so I just wanted to give that to you as just doing your own research. Doing your own research. There are people that are investigating my channel, those that come on, everybody that makes a comment, there are those that are investigating every IP address and every comment. And then they go look at Daniel Scranton and Lee Carroll when they do lives, what comments are being brought forward on their line. There is systematic discrimination, there is systematic abuse, there is systematic degradation, there is systematic, absolute and utter inhumane abuse and targeting. And no one person deserves any of this. I've been teaching for 17 years, plus all of the other lifetimes and all of the other years and all of the other bodies and all the other forms that I've taken across many multiverses. Yes, I give you absolute permission if you see anybody that's bringing on comments that they just want to be superfluous and posting their rhetoric. I'm not sure if there's something in yours, but I give everybody in the chat room, because this is your space too. I give you, this is your space. It is supposed to be held for universal upliftment. It is supposed to be held Mother Mary is Mother Mary's with me right now. She's helping me anchor in Divine Mother energies. These children are so wounded. Thank you, Holy Mother. She's just giving me compassion. She's saying these children are so wounded. Thank you, Holy Spirit. She's just saying that I haven't deserved even an ounce of the abuses that have been in my entire life. And I don't even bring a tenth of them forward to discuss. Only this one discrimination case that has been decades long by a multitudes of people and societies and people in various governments. And it will be brought out by those that are even higher than them. So I'm so grateful that there are people that are speaking and working on my behalf. There's some very, very high benevolent people that are working on behalf of my discrimination case, and they're going to be bringing every single person that is involved, every penny, every dollar. They're going to be bringing it all out. So I'm so grateful that there's people now. You know, it took 6 years, but there's people now. Thank you, Mother Mary. Thank you, Holy 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 Mother Mary. She's saying that I'm discovering how strong I am, even in the face of such ignorance. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So these beautiful galactic and celestial experiences, I'm going to draw a picture, and hopefully I'll have it put in illustration form, because it was such a cool picture, where I was standing and then there's like 3 layers back of the different multiverses that are sheaths of things that are going on in all these different realms that I'm now having access to and seeing. But it is the higher self perspective that I'm seeing, and I have visions and forethought. I'm no longer on the 3D realm, if you will, in that way. I'm visualizing and seeing and getting downloads from the higher self perspective, and the malleability that I'm moving in and out of these different realms is really, really cool. Again, we have to work on grounding. So much grounding is needed because it is such a high vibration. So I'm seeing all of these different schools, like in the multiverse, and these different, so if I'm standing in my body and then there's a sheath and a sheath and a sheath that go up, cascading, and it's similar to the oversoul of oversouls, oversoul of oversouls, and all your guides are different sheaths of information that they feed you their latest discoveries, right? Because it's always cascading, right? That's why you have guides. You have guides for every aspect of your life, whether it's health and healing, whether it's what you're tapping into creatively, you're in whatever parts of the brain that are being enhanced and upgraded. You have guides for everything. And so as they're getting their cascading downloads, as they're getting their free-flowing cascading multiverse malleability, you're now being open to it when you get into that 5D gate, that plasma gate, if you will. And it's very, very cool. And so that's why they were saying, you know, really take time this week to reflect upon what discoveries that you have had about your journey, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually throughout your whole ascension journey, because it's been, for some of us, it's been, you know, close to 20 years on ascension, right? On the ascension path, consciously awake, saying I'm consciously creating my reality. And the discoveries that you've had, because again, this is going to be a very pivotal portal up to August 8th, where you're going to be moving into the gates, and you're going to be having beautiful beings that are going to, hold out their hand for you to come through these new dimensional shifts, and they feel really profound. But what's really needed is you to take celebration, take account, take credit, because there's very few that will give you that credit. Again, the divine feminine has been very, very suppressed, not lifted, not celebrated. So we have to do that for each other. In your own homes, celebrate the children and every one of their accomplishments, and get them used to creating that celebration for others as well. That connection and relationship are so, so important, which will be part of my other video about the traumas and the abuses to the children and how they can behave and react. They're needing that connection and relationship so very badly, because it has just been so much karmic sledge and forced of manipulation energies, forced of stories, forced of narratives, forcing, false corruptions. It's all coming out. This summer it will be mind-boggling, but I'm glad that there are some at the very highest level that are now speaking on my behalf, and they're actually pulling out investigations on everybody that has said they are a leader and they are this and that. They're being pulled. Even if they're a judge, they're going to be called out and they will be prosecuted. So I'm very happy about that. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And so then you'll know, as you're going through this self-discovery, what you're going to get to most often than not is, as you're working through, again, that multidimensional, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, etheric, causal, sexual, all of those things that make you up as a multidimensional, soulful being. What are you discovering about yourself? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? Because remember, that infinity is always about what do you like now? What do you dislike now? Because it's always about your preferences. So focus on more about the preferences, and those things that you are not preferring anymore are just going to slowly move away because you're not paying any focus to it. The preferences help you align to that higher vibrational 5D timeline, right? And it will always return you back if you're doing your path work. Direction, intention, and focus, your 3 E's and your 3 A's, it will always align you back to the highest creative being that you are. And that highest creative being is your passionate expression. And so then you have to get that divine relationship infusion, because you're the one that's infusing divine relationship into the new creative realities. That's how you create your 5D timeline. You're the infusion of divine relationship. You're the infusion of the mother and the father. You're the infusion of your creative experience. You're the infusion of whatever is before you. And how can you make that a divine relationship? You don't have to agree with the other person, because some of these people that you're going to be interacting with, because you have to as a master. I did this drawing a while ago. And any relationship of anybody before you, you're going to have different sets of beliefs. This is you and your beliefs, that's them and their beliefs. And in this infinity is how you infuse divine relationship. It's up to you to intend. I intend to infuse compassion and understanding. You don't have to give your power to them, but you can understand from that perspective of where they're coming from. And then you can work out a common ground. How can we balance this on a common ground without overgiving, without losing yourself in the boundaries? Because there are those people that are very good at manipulation. There are those people that are very good at stealing, taking, and thieving, manipulation, and all those people that fortunately that I've had to deal with. I mean, fortunately and unfortunately, it is all part of my plan, and I'm helping people heal from those that are the most egregious abusers and manipulators. But in that experience of you're the omnipresent is always available for you to pull on. That omnipresent is new codes. That omnipresent is a higher omni-bedding of love. That omnipresent is source creator. I teach this in my private classes on how to allow the infusion of the highest divine relationship. And that's only taught through me. Nobody else teaches it. I'm the only one that teaches it. Hello, beautiful Italy. I love Italy. Thank you, Holy Spirit. And so a lot of that great discoveries is going to be discovering your preferences. How are you moving forward in your expression? The There's a tree right above me, so I'm just communicating with the trees. I've had so many really cool visions. I can't even explain these visions that I've been having. Everything is more celestial for me because my DNA is becoming more and more celestial. I'm just accepting it. I'm discovering more and more about what I had hidden when I was a child, and a lot of those things I had shut off was my connection as being celestial. As Spirit said, you were born here, but you're not from here. And so that has been a big acceptance this week. I've discovered that the more that I accept that and the more that I play with that, I'm outside with nature every day, and it's all of the celestials that I feel, like I said, in these sheaths that are behind me. They're all walking with me in these sheaths, and it's what is my aura. And as I've been walking around this week, I've been seeing people react to my aura, you know, and especially the little children. They look at this field, the fields around me, and they just can't take their eyes off my fields, because a lot of the children, especially if they're under 5, they can see the energies and the beings and the consciousness in my fields. And so these sheaths that I'm sitting behind, and each and every one of you have them too, if you wanted to play with being more multi-vibrationally visual, calling on the pineal. There's been some activations this week on the pineal gland, and the pineal gland assists you also in helping that third eye. Take you into what we've been having. The brain enhancements over the past 2 years have been really allowing us, the corpus callosum and the abdomen, I can't say that word that I said last time. I have it on my little piece of paper. Occipital lobe, the occipital lobe, the highly complex visioning part of the brain, and how we're going to be envisioning non-linear, because remember, 5D is not linear. It's not logically systematic in its approach. It is mysterious, it's miraculous, and that's why a lot of my coming forward and being this bridge to the many cosmos, this bridge to the multidimensional multiverse, the bridge to who you are as spirit, the bridge to who you are with Source, with Mother, Father, God, with all of the beings that are always supporting you. I am the speaker of the bridges that you can choose, if you so choose, to know that you are an infinite soul, you are an infinite soul aspect, that you have connection with all things spirit, and this is what has been missing on our planet. To rebuild that connection, to rebuild that relationship with spirit. We've had to go through these tremendous enhancements within the brain for us to see our reality in the ways that 5D will prepare us. I mean, we've had to be prepared to see things that are just so illogical, right? Like how the only response can be your manifestation of everything that I teach in my classes, and your manifestation of all that is spirit. That's proof that Source, Creator, the omnipresent, is working with you. The alliance with light is very real. The alliance with the passions of who you are in that pillar of light. Opening your chakras, and know your chakras have divine, benevolent, multiverse stories for you to tap into, for you to heal, for you to refine, for you to bring forward in new creative passions. And all of this is a huge infolding of you proving to yourself that life is your reality. It is abundant in all that you are as spirit. The more that you create the embodiment with that relationship and connection with spirit, the more that you'll see these miracles unfold. And you'll have those visions. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for managing the chat room. And you can send them for feedback to YouTube. There are higher ups beyond those that think they're high. There are those of the Most High that are investigating every single person. So I'm very, very grateful that finally there are some very high-ranking, beyond the high-ranking ones that are absolutely not okay with the amount of abuse that's happened to me. And I'm only one person that survived. I shouldn't have survived. I'm only one person that survived out of many that didn't. This is how disgusting the abuse has been. And every person that takes money for abuse, every person that takes money to go and abuse somebody, it's all karma. And there will be charges pressed. Like my pretty earrings. These earrings today. Little beads. So pretty. So the biosphere. So what you're going to realize, for those that enjoy speaking and have practiced Gaia speak, that you just sit with the trees like I do. I'm constantly in nature. And there's always communications coming down because it's a part of that field, that biosphere field, right? Just like you do the stars. Within your Merkaba, within your causal field, within your emotional field, within your energetic field, all that you are as a multidimensional being, you have gifts that tap into the downloads that have already been left there by your higher self, aspects of you, guides of you, your ancestors. There's always downloads in your field. When I say field, this is what your field is. And your field has various fields within the field. You have an emotional body field, you have a causal field, you have an intellectual field where things are read in different ways through threads of energy. You have a physical field. Your physical field, although it's your body, but there is a field that shows your physical woundings that conduits and healers can see and read. And then we are shown those cascading sheaths, depending on, and you can hone your skills if you're a seer, if you're a healer, if you have abilities to read auras, if you have abilities to read energy in trees or read energies in objects. Every object has an energy reading. That's how people, they can hold objects and they can read the history of that person. I don't suggest doing that until you're practiced with your guides on reading energy first, and then you can use that, because sometimes people don't clean their objects. Sometimes that object might have been from somebody very, very toxic and negative and even abusive. You're going to pick up those energies. So just understand energy and know why you're reading, who you're reading, and what you're reading. Those that can psychometry, I think it's called psychometry. You can, there's some videos on psychometry, and just do your due diligence with your energy maintenance. And again, being very clear about what you're reading. And so just I would practice doing psychometry first with nature, because nature always has a benevolent experience, unless, again, if you're going to a battlefield, you're going to read the energy there, right? So just be very aware. As a conduit, that's what I do. I go to sacred spaces and I go to sacred spots on earth where there's different energy readings. There's different energy, tribal energies, things that want to be brought forward to be made new, to higher vibrational stories for the consciousness and for the collective, which is what I did in Peru. I brought new stories for the understanding of the serpent and a lot of the beautiful stories that were in the land there and in the rocks. I love reading Gaia consciousness. I love reading rock consciousness. And so in that consciousness reading, you have the ability to bring new stories forward for a new layering. So they showed me a couple years ago, that in every sacred site that have hieroglyphics, that have pictures and things like that, it's vibrationally changing as we change consciously. Rock consciousness and the trees and the pyramids are no different than our bodies consciously changing. The energy vibration of the pyramids are changing all the time because we are. It's linked to us. Every rock is. So when you have that set up, and you can even do this in your backyard, you can set up some very special rocks that you've gathered from different places and set up an altar, and then intend that altar space to be a place where you can go and read. You can have that as a little portal, and you can have little portals that read energy to help bring healing to the earth, to help bring nourishment to the earth. And you can start by using that as a place of conduitness, so that you can practice reading through nature. I would suggest reading through nature first, because it's the most gentle, it's the most loving, and you get energy back that's not detrimental to you. You have to be practiced in reading a lot of energy, that's why sometimes when those people are so hateful on the line, their energies are just pulling up all of those abuses, and it's like I gotta retransmute it again. And it's like, okay, enough is enough. Have you done your playing? Okay, so you can be hateful. Next, can you grow up? Can you expand a little? What about beyond hate? So it's like an energy reading. I read the energies that are in the space, and the hateful energies are not nice to read. So they're going to be shifted off more and more and more. And they will, if you have to have criminal lawsuits on them, then I will. I'll press charges. Abuse is abuse, and there's so much, Spirit said there's so much evidence. The people that are investigating it, there's so much evidence. Every dollar will be traced, and it's so deep. There's how many people were involved and who was involved. It is so deep, and no wonder it was like a never-ending mountain Every day getting up felt like a mountain that I had to transmute. David and Goliath times 100. One divine feminine. Plus living my normal life where the divine feminine has, you know, what opportunities does divine feminine have out there that where divine feminine are lifted every day? Find a story every day. Seek the stories where divine feminine are lifted every day. Start creating your own stories where divine feminine are lifted every day. Seek the stories where children are lifted in connection and relationship with all life, with our nature, with doing good deeds, with helping each other out. Seek those stories out. That is what is needed right now. Because the adaptation for us to have adapted through so much darkness and through so much negligence, we have to start intending, let's seek out the good stories of connection. Seek out the good stories where divine feminine are honored. Seek out where divine feminine are lifted. And this space is meant to be uplifting for each and every one of you. I want to have uplifting comments in the spaces. I want to have uplifting people come forward and said, I had a connection with a tree last week. I felt so connected. I transcended something. I released a belief. I released a wound. That's the kind of conversation I want in my chat rooms. And so go to Daniel Scranton's live video, see the comments in his live. See the comments in Lee Carroll's live. They're male channelers. I'm a divine feminine channeler. I bring forward multiverse wisdoms and information that Daniel doesn't. Daniel's a channeler of many different beings across the multiverse. He is a divine soul, a very sacred soul. I bring forward multiversal wisdoms. So why are the constant relentless abuses to my channel that are still veiled, they're still shadow banned? And I show weekly every time I upload a video, there's still however many pilfered. And so I want to encourage each and every one of you, be positive and uplifting for all that you are in our chat rooms, because you're helping the connection of our collective. Collective consciousness is connection and our relationship with all that is spirit. I'm here to inspire multiverse, unity, and oneness. I'm a profound teacher, and I don't deserve to be treated the way I have been. And I'm only one divine feminine amongst billions that have been so mistreated. And there has to be new. We have to seek divine feminine to be lifted. Give divine credit where she has been moving through such horrible things. If we look at an average woman in Pakistan, if we look at an average woman in Yemen, in any one of the war-torn places, what a woman has to do to keep her family surviving with no water, no clean water, no food, no governmental support. Seek those stories where divine feminine, absolutely, these women are profound leaders. They're keeping their children safe and alive when nobody else cares. Where have we fallen? And the children rely on the divine feminine the most for their light, for their DNA activations. And again, for any of those that think I'm so crazy, those that have been plotted and planning, and the millions of dollars that have been spent to prove that I'm crazy, why don't you book a session with Daniel and Lee Carroll or any other channeler? Those are the top channelers right there, so I would suggest you go to them. Book a channel. You'll probably have to wait about 3 months to get in to have an appointment with them. And then you ask the highest beings that Daniel channels, which are the 12th dimensional creators, now going into the 13th dimension, and you ask those channelers exactly anything you want to know about me. Because these people won't care about anything unless they're proven that a divine feminine is who they say she is, or has the credit or the ability, unless I've got lots of letters behind my name in the old 3D world of having credit and accreditation, because that makes you something important when it really doesn't, because most of the ones with letters behind their names are corrupt as fuck. So why can't I be just me? Why can't I be who I am? Even though the other male channelers don't have letters behind their name, except for Lee Carroll, because he was a geologist. He studied geoforms. But you do your own research, you do what you want. I'm just saying, why does humanity have to have proven, because these are the beliefs that have to be broken. Why does humanity have to have proven that a divine feminine has to stand 100 times above any man, have 100 times more accreditation, have 100 times more of doing the work and doing the proof that these people have done, these sects of people, these groups of disgusting people have gone through millions of dollars to try and prove me wrong, crazy, bad, horrible, bad parent, blasphemy. They have gone through most overkill routes to try and make me go away and die. The things that these people have done have been beyond horrible. Horrible. Why? Why can't I just be who I am? Why would anybody even want me to prove? Why would any man, why would any misogynistic group want me to prove that I am anything? Why can't I just be expressive in who I am? Why can't divine feminine and all the children, this is what they showed me yesterday in another discovery, these children that are coming forward as hybrids, as crystals, as indigos, they have to be uniquely expressive in who they are without being ostracized, without being chastised, without being bullied. So my story of discrimination is of the grossest bullying that's done covertly, systematically, human testing, human experimenting, slow dagger. Everything was done on me that you could imagine to take me out of who I am. And these people still come online, prove it to me, prove it to me, prove it to you. No, you go away and you do your own research. Get off my channel. Why are you coming on a channel where you just want to argue and debate and degrade? Get off my channel. Go prove it to yourself. Go make an appointment with Daniel, and then you channel in the highest beings of the 13th dimension, and then you can ask all the questions you want about how true profiting I am. Go ask. I challenge anybody. If you want that proof, if you want that validation, God will absolutely make it known. That's why everyone's getting karma right now, and God will lift me 100 times higher than any other person on this planet. Why? Because God says nobody has to prove but I. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. I'm saying if you were smart enough and you had it in you, if you did the overkill options all the other times, why don't you just make an appointment with Daniel and then you ask all the other questions? And then you know what Spirit would say? It's none of your fucking business. She'll be exactly where she needs to be. Get your head out of other people's business. Get your head out of other people's platforms. Get your head out of everybody's pocket watching and pay attention to yourself. Because I can express exactly who I am however I want. I'm a genius. I don't have a 3D test to prove it because it couldn't be proven. Because I absolutely download multi-vibrational information, which is not on a 3D genius test. I don't have to prove anything. But I'm saying if you want to be ignorant and stupid, go do that route. You want to prove it to yourself, go to another channeler that's a male that you trust, because you trust men. You trust what comes out of a man's voice, but you're not going to trust what comes out of a divine feminine's voice, even though she could heal 100,000 people in one session. And she can leave divine codes from the multiverse in one session to the multitudes of the multi-planets that I teach to right now. There are teachers and there are beings and there are students sitting in bowed presence because I teach in other planets and other realms. This is what they're showing me right now. And they bow to me. This is how ancient I am. And yet people on earth treat me like I'm less than a sack of dirt. And they want me to prove, and they want me to this, and they want me to that. And they'll put me through 15 million human tests just to make sure I am who I say I am. They're going to put me through all of these illegal tests just to make sure I'm worthy, just to make sure I'm worthy of their name, or they're worthy of their company, or I'm worthy of their, whatever it is their illegal tests are for testing me, as if it's like some sort of a corrupt interview process. For one thing, it's an illegal process of whatever you're doing. You're abusing technology, you're abusing the privacy laws, you're abusing human rights laws. And if I was so crazy, no crazy person would know the human rights. No crazy person would know the privacy laws that you've just abused about 8 million times in the entirety of my lifetime. And the secret files that were in my name that nobody had permissions to. Nobody had signatures to, nobody had authority to. Not one person from anybody that's stolen millions from me has ever come to validate my signature and my story. Where's the due diligence? Where's the verification of my life to anything of all these people that have been falsifying my name and falsifying stories against me? They have no clue. They don't even talk to me. They have never talked to me. So why has no company ever done a due diligence interview with me? There's so much corruption, it's not funny. And all of these people call me Yeah, no, I'm going to be leading this planet through ascension. And it's the misogyny where people cannot get it. People cannot get out of their brains and their beliefs and their hatred and their discriminations of divine feminine and how little we have been honored on this planet. And that is the balance that has to be made. And if you think this planet, if you think in your ignorance that this planet is going to be okay running at the state that it's running, you absolutely need to go in and heal. There is zero presence of divine feminine on this planet. Look around. You are asleep. There is zero presence for divine feminine on this planet. And the adaptation has been egregious. Stay out of my chat room. If you don't like what I say, if you're going to be challenging, ignorant, and hateful, stay out of my chat room. You're going to be blocked. You're going to be sent. And there are the higher ups of the higher ups of the higher ups of the higher ups that are watching all those that think they are elite and they are non-chargeable because they're actually judges and lawyers. And they just want me to shut up because they live underground lifestyles that are absolutely going to bring them down, which is what God wanted. God wanted to put me in front of the most egregious, about the most misguided, about the ones that hurt the people the most. And that's what I did. I did my job. And that's why God will lift me. Because those that are being pulled out, those that are the most corrupt, those that have been paid millions to shut me up, to silence me, to take me out, to sacrifice me hundreds of times, those are the very same people that have hurt and killed multitudes. And they don't care. And I'm calling each and every one of you out. And so this court case, all of the details will be known. And it will be a relief because then I'm going to move to a different timeline and I'm going to be on different, working with collectives that actually want to heal, working with collectives that care about their universal bodies, working with collectives that care about the children, working with collectives that care about the planet and care about nature. And how many of the leaders, I don't watch the presidential debates, because I don't watch anything to do about politics. It's not leadership. But how many of the leaders that you know that are in your countries, because I thank you for all those that are watching from across the country, different countries that you're coming from, how many of the leaders talk about divine Gaia? How many of them talk about the alignment that they have with their planet? How many of them talk about the alignment that they have with nature, the biosphere, what's going on with the oceans, what's going on with the air and the chemtrails? How many of the leaders are talking about how to get women into safe homes and have food for their children when they're not being taken care of and they're not being given the monies to take care of their families? These are real issues that every divine feminine, and seek those divine feminine that are doing great works and lift them up. Every single divine feminine requires that we are lifting one another. Because for us to keep our families balanced and for us to keep the children being fed in light and our positive love and our positive prayers and our encouragement, inspiration, and empowerment, it is all about that love that the mother has for her children, that cord will never ever be cut. So to target a divine feminine, to sacrifice a divine feminine, to impale her with decades of human testing, technology targeting, abuse of technology, abuse of weaponry, all the things that were done to me in the secret files that were held back and the secret files that were meant to be brought back to me. So many illegal abuse cases of human rights. So countless offenses. And I'm just one. Again, many didn't make it. Many committed suicide. Many were taken out by the slow dagger that they intended. And when the stories do come out, not that they will, but this is what Spirit has said. When the stories and all of the details come out, and it will, those that have been the most hateful and those that have been the most overkill will be sitting knee deep in their own pit that they made. And sometimes, which wasn't, God gave them so much grace, but God has taken away their grace now. God's taken away the grace and the protection from all of those people. because you can't abuse, you can't continue to abuse people and disregard God and spit on God when you've been given years and years of grace to do what's right and to heal yourself, heal your wounds of hate. I'm not your issue. You have issues within, divine feminine, divine masculine. You have issues within of being sexually abused. You have issues within of no sense of self. I'm not your issue. You just come to my platform to spew hate. I'm an easy target for you because I'm one divine feminine that speaks out for many that get treated the exact same way. And so go do your research. Check out other divine masculines that channel and check out how they're treated. And in the discrimination cases against me, all those that brought those informations and those false claims forward, they were misogynistic men that abused their power to say all false claims, 100% falsities against me. And the social systems believed the masculines before they ever even took my word for anything. And yet I'm the only one speaking truth. Again, discrimination on every level. And it has to get to how many tower moments and how many people's lives being affected and losses and damages and suffering. The entire city is under karma. Or it could have just been done 6 years ago when I brought it up first. So we have to change the laws on covert occult abuse. Secret societies being used as spiritual hitmen and women and the witches and the voodooists and all the things that are done to take out innocent people because we don't play a part in the plan of the elite agendas and these false masonry groups that are pushing their agendas for trafficking portals and exploitation portals into the black web of watching people suffer and then making money off of it. Oftentimes we have to go through suffering so that we can alchemize the wounds. You can't alchemize the wound just by saying it. You have to experience what absolute enslavement feels like. What discrimination feels like for every woman that has children that wants to do the best for them but has no money to pay for the food. And this is the average woman across all North America. Even worse in the Middle East. Even worse in places like India. It's even worse. And humanity has been so cut off, so separated, because that's how they've been entrained. We have to change. We have to create connection and relationship. We have to go through our own ascension journey. 51% of everyone's karma is to look at the wounding. And you can't go into a wounding without feeling some sort of what you call suffering, but you have to go into that wound to alchemize it. You cannot alchemize anything if you're not going into the wound. You can't just say, okay, I'm looking at that wound from a distance, from an objective point. No, you have to go into that wound and you have to heal it. That's how you alchemize it. And so, yes, if you were brutalized, if you were sexually raped, if you were vibrationally raped again and again and again and again, if you were psychologically tormented, if you were sent sacrifices and spell work your entire life, you have to go into those wounds on why people have such hate for you when it has nothing to do with you. It's a lineage wound or it's a very deep childhood wound that they're projecting onto you. And it doesn't have anything to do with you, but you don't know that until you go into the wound and you go there. So there has to be a level of, we want to get rid of the word suffering because there's many different levels of suffering in a healing modality. If you're looking at a healing perspective, there's many different aspects of suffering. Some can be self-suffering and some can be suffering from systems of discrimination and abuse, right? It depends on that level of suffering. But you have to go into the wound to heal it. And you do have to touch that wound. You have to say, I get it now. I understand where that came from. I get why did I choose to take that on? That's not even mine. That's how you become an alchemist. That's how you become multidimensional on that higher self perspective, because your teams will give you that download. You went to that enslavement wound. You went to that discrimination wound. You went to that ostracization wound. You went to that crucifixion wound. Whatever that wound is, you have to go there. Don't keep repeating the story. Get to that wound of what you're feeling. What did Jesus do to deserve that fate? What does a child do to deserve being raped and trafficked? And there was a video last week, which I wanted to bring good news. There was 200 children that were found in Phoenix. 200 children missing were found. I'm pretty sure it was Phoenix. So we're so happy that they were found and not sent off into trafficking rings. So thank God. So the black web is starting to be pulled up in all of those portals to trafficking and so on. Planet Earth is an earth of separation, remembrance of who you are as unified to all things. And every person on the planet has to work through their 51% of karma. Those of us that are teachers, healers, and leaders, we transmute from a collective level. We transmute collective woundings. I'm here to transmute the divine feminine collective wounding. Well, God doesn't see it as wrong. There are no wrongs. You're always going to learn to return back to self. You have infinite sojourns through all creation at different dimensional levels. You're always going to be loved. And as I said, when you're doing your self-discovery, you're always going to say, okay, well, why did I choose that? You chose it because you either had a low sense of self, you took on a belief that wasn't yours, you took on a belief of what you were projected, you took on a belief of what the systems told you. There is so much systematic separation in our reality. So when you're doing the healing, it's not a matter of right and wrong. It is when you get down to basics. Yeah, you don't, knock somebody over the head for no reason and then just run off. That's right and wrong. Conscience, right? You have a conscience. When you're hurting somebody, is there a conscience? But to do multidimensional healing, you have to go into whatever it is that you're feeling. Whether it is ostracization, crucifixion, abandonment, you have to go into that wound. You have to go into rejection. You have to go into those wounds. You have to go into that wound and then you have to alchemize it. There are those of us that have been chosen to take on very collective roles, and that collective role means that we do take on collective stories. We transmute for the collective of the children. I bring forward collective children's stories so that people can wake up and get their heads out of their own butts and stop being so self-indulgent and so selfish to think that they're the only people in the universe, and they're not. You are a collective of oneness. The unified collective, the unity consciousness, the Christ consciousness is all about who are you, what do you exist within, what's going on within you, and you affect everybody around you. I am one of the ones that have been brought forward to speak on behalf of Gaia, to speak on behalf of the ancients, to speak on behalf of the ancestors, to speak on behalf of the celestials, the aliens, the systems of light, the multiverse, the galactic federations. I'm a part of all systems. I speak on behalf of the hybrid children. I speak on behalf of the crystal children. I speak on behalf of the indigo children. Why? Because they don't have a voice. I speak on their behalf. Take it up with God if you're not liking what I'm saying or how I'm saying it. Stop picking apart my story. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm not asking you to dissect me. I'm not asking you to prove anything. I'm not answering your questions. I'm not in your interview. Go book an appointment with a channeler and ask your questions. Get out of my energy. You're trying to find something on my energy so that you can dispute it and you can work against it and you can fight against it. I know your energy. I'm reading it. Get off my chat room. And why I kicked you off. I read your energy. Think you can hide behind a little icon that says a different name and says something really spiritual. No, it's not. I read your energy. Pocket watching sleuth. And the children's story is a part of what I transmute in my own versions of stories coming from other planets, and being a hybrid and being an empath and being a conduit and being psychic and being a higher vibrational being amongst people that are not yet awake and are choosing to live in whatever separations they're living in. And of course, the divine feminine, which is, I'm a part of anchoring that energy for New Earth, for cities of light, for systems of light, for creating new systems and healing modalities, for all of the new adaptation that we're empowering divine feminine to come in. So seek divine feminine stories where we're uplifting. Right? We want to be inspiring the benevolence of lifting one another up and creating inspiration and challenge you know, for the stories that we're learning and helping each other move through these stories, instead of it being the constant battle of us and them, the constant battle of why Divine Feminine even have to prove themselves. Well, why? We're a half of the collective. Why do we have to prove ourselves? And yet the Divine Masculines that have been corrupt, abusing, creating underground systems, creating corrupt cities, creating corrupt families, destroying families because of their corruption and because of their secret lifestyles, and yet blaming the Divine Feminine for their choices. And Divine Feminine have to prove themselves. Plus, we don't earn as much money on any level. And we have to fight for our voice. So how is any of this okay? It's like a double standard. Everything in our creative collective is a double standard. If you've ever gone through a divorce, you absolutely know it's a double standard. Especially if that Divine Masculine has a professional job or role. And then they'll go and tout themselves even higher and fuller to make themselves look really, really great and make the Divine Feminine that's chosen to walk away because it's just a deceitful mess, a pit of deceitful mess. And then you get punished for walking away and speaking truth and calling these people out for their double standard. It's okay that they do absolutely corrupt, abhorrent things behind the door. And when you call them out on it, boy, oh boy, you get targeted even more. More gang stalkers follow you. More of your platforms get shut down. And then you get calls at your work and you get all of these complaints and defamation stories that you have. They're not even about you. That's all false. 100% false. You don't even know me. And falsifying signatures and all this, it's all going to come out. Everything will be seen. What has been done, everything will be seen. It was overkill. It was like a release the Kraken on Divine Feminine. As soon as the Christ consciousness Divine Feminine came forward, it was like the gates were lifted, like the gladiator Pompey and all these wild animals came out to just feed off of me. That's exactly how it was. It was overkill. And my books will be writing about my experiences. My books will be writing about the alliance with light, because that's how you manifest. You manifest getting up every day. And no, it's not easy. You're transmuting every day. You're going through a new discovery of who you are now, and you're picking yourself up and you're creating a new design. You're creating yourself anew. You're going to transmute and you're going to move on. And you're going to let go, and you're going to say that that's no longer there. That story is being closed. The doors are being closed forever. There is no return. Don't even stand before me. You don't have the right. And so again, everybody from the past, everybody from Calgary, you do not have the right to stand before me. There is no restart. There's no do-over. You will not stand before me. God will not let you stand before me. You must go through my lawyer to repay what you have stolen. You must go through my lawyer for any documents that you need to return to me. That's mine, the stolen mail, the stolen property, the monies, the inheritances, the falsified insurance claims. Everything has to go through my lawyer. And there are beings of the highest on this planet that are now investigating on my behalf. Thank you, God. Thank you, Mother, Father. Thank you, Systems of Light. Thank you, the Galactic Federations. Thank you to everybody. Because they saw what a disgrace that I tried to go through this entire process, doing the most graceful. And it will all come out, thank God, because I'm so exhausted of this stupid ass story. And these people that think they have any entitlement to stand before me and say, hey, let's try this again. Are you kidding me? You ruined my fucking life 100,000 times. And you laughed about it. And you falsified, and you had the most egregious defamation stories that are not even close. Nothing about me. You just had a lot of hate in your heart, and you thought you might as well impale it on me while you go and steal all my money and steal my work. Call my work yours, never give me credit for my work, never pay me a penny for my work. No agreements were signed, no discussions were done, no signatures were given, no due diligence was done, no verification was done, and yet these people were living the high life while I sat in poverty, transmuting all of their hate and their 200 rituals to kill me. And everybody got paid but me. That was their intention, to show Divine Feminine how little she was valued on this planet. And the thing that makes me sad, and I say this with absolute there are trees all along right here. There's a beautiful little park. And I say, as I'm bowing to the trees, and I'm bowing to Mother Gaia, Mother Mary, and all of the sisters and the Holy Mother are standing as I bow. They brought me forward as a gift. Mother Mary brought me forward. The sisters of the Pleiades, I call them the Sister Seven, and the Holy Mother brought me forward as a gift. Because they knew how much the planet needed me and how much I have to offer in my healing and in my teachings and in the beauty that is the divine feminine. And in every day, I just apologize for the behavior of those that are so wounded to act in such hate to divine feminine. And I bow to the mothers, and I bow to all divine feminine, and I bow for them, and I say, please forgive. Please forgive them, Holy Mother, Father. And Mother and Father, help repair my heart, because those abuses were to all divine feminine. And I bow on behalf of those that have done such targets to the children's mother. And the children need good mothers like me to say that they always belong and they always fit. And they're so beautiful, and their creative talents are going to change the world, and their expressions are going to offer such joy that ripple out through all creation. And Mother says you are the gift. And those will be shifted out that don't want to realize it. I'm so sorry, Mother. Please forgive them. Please forgive them, Mother. Please forgive them. Please forgive them, Mother. Please forgive them. I'm actually seeing the mothers over by the trees because I have such humility for Mother Mary. Mother Mary is working with me a lot just to heal all of the persecutions that she had to go through with Jesus. She's shown me some very beautiful stories that she had to transmute, and she had to work with the giving of her son. So her and I have had some very beautiful healing moments. Pray, Holy Mother. Thank you, Holy Mother. Thank you, Holy Mother. Thank you, Holy Mother. Thank you, Holy Mother Mary. She was showing me that the challenges that I've had to go through, although I do have a lot more guides that support me and a lot more protectors, they've got legions everywhere protecting me, and I don't feel a lot of the targeting because they've chosen to protect me. What Jesus went through back then, there was no technology. And so the human testing and all of those things that I went through, thank you, Mother Mary. She's saying that they won't hold the discriminations against the divine feminine. And that's the story that I have to be okay with some of these stories, that there won't, in some corners of our world and histories and dogma, our social systems, there will be some stories, it doesn't matter how many times I bring forward the highest intelligent informations, and then I refer you to other male channelers to bring forward the same messages, same truths. The discriminations of Jesus's crucifixion to my crucifixion was done on a multidimensional level with technology and groups and gangs and monies. Eons of practiced voodoo and spells. And Mother Mary is saying that we have to let go of the innate desire to have eons of discrimination and the erasing of divine feminine change overnight. Because sometimes people might have to transition into spirit before they realize their deeds and their beliefs and how harmful and hateful they have been to the soul of divine feminine, which is Gaia, which is our water, which is all abundance, which is the children's hearts and souls. And we have to be okay with that. We have to just know that evolution is eternal, and profound beings like myself and Jesus and all of the other beautiful divine feminines on the line that you've been my clients for so very long. You have been such mavericks at holding the divine feminine mantle. And I've been with you in every class and in every session where we've all cried together because of your beautiful stories of how you've triumphed and moved through challenge. And you've still brought forward encouragement for the innocent in your life. And you still give when you have very little to give. Thank you, Mother Mary. And Mother Mary is saying she will bless you. She's saying she will bless you because you have been the triumphant holders of faith. And it's not faith for any practices that you have held, but faith that within your heart you know there is love that transmutes all things. And sometimes people will never know the damage they've done to you until they pass over, or the damage they've done to divine feminine and the children in their choosing not to heal their own wounds, choosing not to heal their sexual suppressions and their divine masculine energies and their divine feminine energies. So I'm so very grateful to have been your colleague and your teacher. So grateful. Thank you, Mother Mary. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Mother Mary. Mother Mary was a master of love and grace. She had to carry so much within her heart that many of us are here to heal, as far as discrimination, to the loss of children and to the loss of the innocent and the sweet of the children. And I often say to my guides and to Mother, Father, God, I say, I still cry about the crucifixion of Jesus. And then Spirit asked me, well, why do you cry about the crucifixion of Jesus? And I said, because his heart was so pure and innocent, and I see it occurring. And it doesn't matter how many wisdoms I bring forward every day, there's still the gross disregard, the ignorance that they choose not to have any connection with spirit at all. They're just choosing to be ignorant. And that's their soul's journey, and I have to be okay with that and let that go. Thank you, sweetheart. And you can tell those that just want to come in and just spew their do anything just to throw you off. And so in this, oh my gosh, we're talking about discoveries. So if you can this week, get out to nature. What can you discover about the path that you've been on so far thus far? What are you discovering about yourself as far as likes and dislikes? And remember, because your likes and dislikes, because the more that you're becoming awakened and ascended, you're becoming more purely aligned for, again, simplifying your life, refining your life, what makes sense to you, bringing forward those deep, passionate, creative experiences. The likes is what you want to pay attention to and just keep pulling them forward. The foods that you like, the people that you like being around, nature that you like, all of these expressions are becoming more and more self-defining, self-refining. And what are you discovering about yourself along the way in every day? And hopefully, my hope for you is that, and I intend for you, is that you gain a greater clarity, a greater connection with Spirit speaking with you all the time. Spirit's always speaking with you. Spirit's always connecting you with you. Spirit's always showing you how much love that Spirit, all creation, has for you and with you. As I showed you those sheaths, it was just like a vision of me as the body form, the human form on the 3D version, if you will. This is what they're showing me, the shift off to 5D. There's going to be aspects of you that the higher self of you is able to see to 3D, so that you're building the bridge of all those on 3D that are still working through their karma, that choose to go along for the path of ascension, the infolding of light. And then there will be those that don't choose. So that's why you see the shifting out. One train track will go one way and the other train track will go this way. They want to work on their 51% karma. They're still awake. And those will be the ones that you're going to be helping, and the bridges that you're going to help building between the 3 and 5D. So all of those that have been my clients for a really long time, you are a bridge builder. So you're going to be helping those continuing on their path of ascension. And then there'll be the shifting out of those that just don't want. They don't want anything to do with. They're just here to be, negative catalysts. And that's okay too, because everything is perfect. Source Creator is a part of it all, and there's purpose to it all. And then it's just about letting go of all those things that you can't, like I said to Mother Mary, when Mother Mary was telling me about, she was showing me some of the traumatic healing she had to go through in processing Jesus's death. And there was a lot of parallels between our lives, because we take a lot, her and Mother Mary and I have taken on a lot of similar imprints in our stories, so that we can help transmute and bring Divine Feminine up to higher vibrational consciousness. And a lot of it has to do with releasing the subjugations and the crucifixion energies, and what it feels like to lose someone that is just such a sweet soul, right? And to have that be a loss, because it was me. I was that sweet soul that I lost, and of all this degradation and abuse for no reason. The soul of me is very sweet. I'm a very, I just want to be in nature. I just want to help people. I don't understand any of it. So horrible. So Mother Mary, I've had a lot of healing this week. But those sheaths that are here and here and here, they're like little invisible webs. They look like transparent webs of energy that you can see through, and you can reach up into and pull down, so that you're anchoring higher and higher energies for whatever timeline that you're going to be on, because you want to release yourself from the matrix, if you will. Again, focusing on your likes, focusing on how you're refining your intention, direction, and focus. And the creative aspects of your 5D timeline is going to be really important for you to keep focusing on, and keep manifesting and keep manifesting. You're manifesting in 5D is not manifesting from 3D, right? You're manifesting in a higher vibrational way, and it's absolutely 100% about your vibration. And then that ingathering of light, healing your body, working through the triggers. As you've seen on this show today, I was very vulnerable with all of you. I was showing you when a trigger comes up and how to move through it, and how to see the angles, and allow Spirit to speak to you on what that core trigger is about. As I showed you when I had that trigger of these people on the line, the mother and the Holy Mother and the Sister 7 came forward to show me the vision of that healing experience. So I show you with vulnerability what a trigger looks like, and how hate affects people, how hate affects the mother and the energies that are offered to the children. The DNA that I have, that I activate, and I'm devoted consciousness with activating my DNA, with assuring that my hybrid, my DNA, my celestial, my alien, all my DNA from every realm that I'm ever from. I mean, it's my book, it's my Bible with Source Creator, it's my Akash with God, it's my Akash through all creation, right? All Source Creator, godliness is in my DNA. It's all that I am. And so that is very important for me to activate for all future generations, not only Divine Feminine, for all children that come to the earth, and for Gaia, because your DNA affects everything. Every time you have a DNA activated, it affects all creation. You know, especially those of you that are the children that are in your family. And they see you moving forward in your highest and best path through empowerment, inspiration, and enhancement of all that you are as a multivibrational being. You know, what makes you happy? What are you discovering about yourself today? How are you discovering yourself in alignment with all that is life, with all that is spirit? Are you creating greater connection and entanglement and engagement with spirit? Can you move through those triggers in a way that is honoring for you? Again, if I can show you anything, and if I can make you feel more comfortable and make you feel more self-empowered as a divine feminine, or whoever you are, wherever you're going with on your path, really give yourself permission to be vulnerable and okay working through your triggers in soft and gentle ways. And sometimes you have to speak your truth. Sometimes it's not going to sound nice, and sometimes it's not going to be airy and fluffy. Sometimes you have to say those things that need to be said about how much people have harmed you and hurt you. And it has to be said point blank, because the distress and the emotional trauma affects everybody in the generational lineage. And people have to understand that for unity consciousness. I'm going to do a separate video about what they showed me about the children's collective, and how the children do act out sometimes because of such ostracization and separations within our creative collective. They feel the stressors, especially those that do negative black magic conjuring and hateful conjuring and hate groups and neo-Nazi hate groups and all of those things. Unfortunately, the children are so very sensitive, and just to pray a lot for everybody, and know that we can inspire profound change. That's where we're just see the change, see the transmuting, see that everybody, as many as possible, can wake up to, yes, there is source creator inside of us. Yes, we are divine beings of holy light. We are infinite beings of eternal life. We are infinite beings across all nations, across all planets, across all realms. We are infinitely creative. We absolutely have 100% control of balancing our divine feminine, divine masculine energies. We are in absolute control of healing all diseases. We are in absolute control of creating a creative genius outcome in whatever 5D alignment of the heavens that we're being shown that's needed for the collective, those vocational alignment sessions which I offer, and helping you move through the daily triggers that occur, and knowing absolutely when to walk away, let go, and sever the cords of all those that have been constantly abusive. You don't have to stick around and explain your story to anybody. You don't owe anybody any explanations if you have been in such abusive experiences. You know, obviously, if you're in poverty and you've not received while everybody else is receiving and living their life and doing all of the poverty blocking and stalking and doing the schemes and the plotting and the planning covertly and messing your life up on every level in every way, you absolutely know that there's something going on. You don't owe anybody an explanation. Your purpose and your right is to align with your highest and your best, is to get yourself to a safe place and move on and move away. You don't owe anybody from the past any explanation. And they will face how they've treated everybody, and they will face the deceit and the lies and the defamation and the spell casting, and they'll have to sit in that return energy. Because the spells will return, and how will people that are not spiritually protected? I'm very spiritually protected, obviously, and they know that because none of their sacrifices have worked. None of their death rituals have worked. I'm very spiritually protected, and it won't. Mother said, "You will not touch my daughter." But again, they don't believe anything that I say. They just want to keep creating hate. And so Mother is showing everybody, you won't touch my daughter, but what happens when all of that black magic and those voodoos and those sacrifices get sent back to you? What happens when you're not spiritually protected? And the first thing these people do is, oh, she must be throwing us black magic. Well, if she was going to throw you black magic, God wouldn't be lifting her. That's why your gifts are being taken away and her gifts are being amplified, because I honor the universal laws. If you're doing something that upsets me, and if you're doing something that's wrong, then I will align you. And I've said to you 800 times, look at my videos and look at my blog posts. You're abusing universal laws. You're abusing spiritual laws. You don't have a right to touch my energy. You don't have a right to do anything that you're doing. You've already stolen off me. You've already ruined my life. Leave me alone. And that's been said 8 billion times. Leave me alone. You will not force me to be with you. Nobody from the past will force me to be with you on any level, in any way. Stop doing your magic. It will return tenfold, and you will sit in your mess. I don't want to be with anybody from the past. Why would I go through 8 years of divorce? Why would I go through $60,000+ of going through divorce? Why would I go through such lengths to get myself away and escape a cult-like mentality of misogynistic, hate-filled spellcasters, of liars, deceivers, thieves, and underground mess? Why would I go through all of that trouble, barely escaping, barely surviving? Why would I go through all that and then have anybody have any entitlement to actually come back and have another cycle? Karmic cycles are dead and gone. They're over. There is no more return. Nobody from the past will return. I'm not interested in 1 ounce. I've made it very, very clear. Nobody from the past will return ever. Ever. You don't get to do 30 sacrifices on me and 200 death rituals and 200 cock blocking and 200 poverty and 200 never going to amount to anything and 200 going to car crash and 200 her body's going to blow up and evaporate and 200 whatever other things that were wished upon my life. You don't get to wish me hate and steal my life and take my work and defame me and put falsifications on everything about me and then come back to say, hey, I'm kind of sorry. I didn't know how special you were back then, but I kind of see that you're special now. You need to grow up. You need to do a lot of healing. It disgusts me. It's vile. Why does anybody have to prove that they're really great for you to even be in the same company? I think that you need a lot of help sociopathically. Everybody in the community needs a lot of assessment to believe something from 100% false and to do years and years of hate work and targeting on me. Nobody has the right to stand before me. You're not my friends. You never have been. I never even talked to any of you, with the exception of my ex through divorce court. And again, why would I go through $60,000 barely escaping that brutal, such delayed, derailed, unfair, unjust experience of so-called divorce where it was just and fair, so not just and so not fair? There will never, ever be a return of such disgusting, vile. There's no words to express what I went through. Why would any of that be okay? It's not. No, I'm going to wait till 5D and I'm going to have my 5D soulmate, and that soulmate relationship is protected. Nobody will touch it. It doesn't matter how many of these witches and warlocks want to swap destinies and try and take out my partner and try and do this and try and do that because they want the money that God will be blessing us with, because those monies will go towards the collective. Because that's what we're kind of here to do. Exactly. They're called exes for a reason. But they don't take Divine Feminine's side. They don't even listen to Divine Feminine's story. Nobody has come forward in any level of the insurance, the documents, the mail, the monies, the falsified forms, the falsified anything. Nobody has asked me 1 iota. Nobody has said, Joanna, let's see your signature. Let's verify. Let's have a discussion with you to see how crazy you are. Well, do you know how much work it takes to actually write 1 book? I've written 3. And I've produced them, I've edited them, and I've published them. Does that sound like something a crazy person would do? I can wrap circles around anybody that comes before me. I don't care whether they're a world leader or a church leader. Sit down and talk with me. Let's talk this out. No, they're absolutely 100% falsifications of a corrupt cult and club that wanted my destiny. They wanted to swap my destiny as if they could, because they don't understand anything. They wanted to swap my essence. They wanted to take my power because they believe in power ritualistic swapping. They do rituals to swap energy. They do rituals to harvest energy. They do rituals to take talent. That's where their low vibrational beliefs are. And they pay a lot of money to go back and forth to say, go take her destiny. Let's do a ritual on her. Let's do a ritual on him. Let's go take their creative ideas. Let's build a web page like theirs and let's pretend that we're them. We're going to take their destinies and we're going to veil her as if she's not here. And why there was so many years of my channel being blocked and veiled. They're very elite people that are paying to have this done. To have me absolutely erased, have me absolutely ignored, so that the false people, the false idiots that stand before the people and fool everybody and have them believe that that false person that is nothing but a demonic conjurer is so-called a source conduit, is so-called a source psychic healer. You're not. You're just going to get demons. That's all that person standing before you will give you is a demon. So don't touch them or have sex with them, because they change demons back and forth, and then it's called entity attachment. And then when all is said and done and nothing else is working and they've lost all their money and everything is going to shit, then they come to the healer and say, well, of course, you're the only one that can take rid of these entities from my experience, because you are the Christ consciousness. You can You can expose these demons from within me and get rid of these demons, can't you? Yeah, of course I can. That's one of God's authority that has been given to me. I can extract a demon. Will I do it? No. I'm going to help the children that you hurt. I'm going to help the women that you abused. I'm going to help the women that you took their work and you called it yours and you didn't give them an ounce of credit. And they're trying really hard to feed their kids. I'm going to heal those women that are trying to feed their kids when they're not getting clean water and they're being sick and diseased. I'm going to help put clean water in Pakistan. I'm going to help take the demon out of somebody that got raped because they were walking home from school one night. That's who I'm going to help. I'm not going to help those that were impaling after eons and thousands of warnings not to do what they were doing. You're going to have to take that demon right to God, and you work with God. I'm not taking your demon out. I'm very selective about who I will heal. As I said, what is my part in this transaction? And God will show me, and God will lead me. And I will take the demons out of those that have had it unknowingly and unfairly placed upon them. Like all of the multitudes of children from the underground that are going to come up and have to be healed, I'm going to save my energy for them because they didn't deserve their fate. And those ones that have financed it, and those ones that have called it their business to play God, and those that have egregiously paid millions to have healers like myself taken out, to be silenced, for us not to say the truths of what we see and what God tells us to see. God gives us everything that we're meant to see, and the egregious beings that are behind it all. The judges and the lawyers and the bankers and the so-called police that are supposed to keep these children safe. And everybody's going to get a taste this summer. Are you within integrity and the higher values and morals of why you're here? Are you in the unity consciousness, right use of free will and non-interference, and are you creating balance on this planet? Is every voice heard? Is every voice respected? Is everybody's body being respected and honored? Or is it only justice for the top 5%? So in all of that, answer your own questions. How are you discovering who you are in this grand plan? See the good, seek the empowered, seek the stories that you want to bring forward for expression. You have to seek out that which is beautiful and awesome, and everything that is in Gaia is beautiful and awesome, and bring those stories forward tenfold because she is our healer, and we are moving her into this fifth dimensional bedding that is pure love and pure joy and pure promise and pure potential. And absolutely no, you will be protected 100% of the way out of the purity of your heart for no other reason. If for the purity of your heart, you're bringing information forward to ensure that no others get harmed in the criminal rings, in the trafficking rings, in the abuse rings, in whatever government or business or environment that goes on. And if you're doing it out of the purity of your heart because you know that innocent people are being harmed, and that is the only reason why you're bringing things forward because you want to see positive change, absolutely 100% the heavens will be behind you and you will be supported and protected. If you're doing it to get back at somebody, if you're doing it to bring someone harm, if you're doing it to get this and to get that, then you're not doing it for the right reason, and that will be karma for you as well. Again, what is your intention? Your intentions and your motives are everything. And that's why those that continue to attack, that continue to come online and ask questions to try and get their answers in their way so they can skew the stories and they can review the stories and then they can throw a blasphemous story to make their story more right than yours. Because that's why they asked the questions they asked. There's always a motive, read the energy. Why do you do what you do? Do you do it to feed your ego and your woundings? Get to the woundings, heal yourself. Because when you're living from a spiritual space, you absolutely know that you're righteous. And you absolutely know that you're breathing with spirit and spirit's breathing with you, and all will be brought tenfold. That's how you know. My loyal clients, you absolutely know that you are righteous. Because when you breathe with spirit. And when you're having a tough day, you absolutely feel that. And you absolutely transmute it and you move on and you get up and you try again. My loyal clients are those clients that are absolutely connected and in harmony with spirit. And they get up every day, they know they're connected with spirit. That is being aligned with spirit. Not because you want to do things to look good. Not because you want to do things because you want to get someone back. Not because you want to do things because you want to play power God over others. That's ego, that's wounding. Go sit down, do your healing. Get connected with your soul. Go within, who are you? And keep going within and asking that question until you discover yourself as spirit. You are 100% spirit. And you have a body. And that body will be either diseased, unbalanced, and in harmony, or it will be sick with whatever you feed it. Thought, word, and deed. And so too will it resound to the children around you. They're absolutely 100% taking on whatever it is you are and you vibrate. If you vibrate low, your children are taking that on because you haven't taught them how to be and look after their own energies. And unfortunately, there are some people that actually harvest off the children. And they know the children have great light and they're harvesting off these children. So egregious. There's so much. And that is my frustration. The frustration comes from such abuse of sacred life. And my platform should have been opened up decades ago to bring sacred life to the forefront. Awaken people to sacred life. Sit 5 minutes, 3 times a day and just think about sacred life. Connect. Who are you? What is sacredly going on within you? Your cells are filled with spirit. The omnipresent is filled with spirit. This planet needs its reconnection with spirit. Everything is spirit. Because if you love yourself, and if you value yourself, you would never ever do a spell or a hate tactic or any harm of any way to anyone. And you would never ever take an ounce of a child's light. You would absolutely say, wow, I love your light. And you would be sending them more light because it's just so nice to see them fully in their light. That's a true light worker. That's a true healer. It doesn't matter what goes on. You're just sending people light because, wow, I just love to see you shine. You're in your light. You're not going to try and hide them and veil them and hopefully that nobody will see them. And that's why YouTube and everybody involved, they will be equally as charged. Who is it to anybody to say I'm not meant to be seen or heard? I'm meant to heal the multitudes, and I will be, and God will lift me. My platforms will be opened up tenfold, a billionfold, and everybody will see. And there will still be those that will come forward, as Mother Mary said. You just have to let those ones go and just not even consider that they will ever change. Because it doesn't matter how much God will lift and how much miracles God will place before anybody. There will be those that will just say, Divine Feminine have no use. That's how they'll just see Divine Feminine in all creation. And they will live the imbalanced life and hateful life that they will live because they have deep wounds they are not willing to look at. And that makes me sad for anybody around those people, especially if they have children. But that's to each and every one of you. You're awake now. You're consciously awake, right? So that we're not the old pillars. We're not the old systems. We're not the old leaders. We are brand new conscious creators. And we as conscious creators are the heavens. We are the planets that we come from. We are celestial. We are angelic. We are hybrid. We are all things beautiful and great and profound. And we're bringing the Venusian beauty. We're bringing the Venusian energy of absolute abundance of all life. And we get to be vulnerable and show our insecurities, and we get to be vulnerable and show those moments where we get triggered and be the vulnerability of a higher master coming forward and say, let's work through this wound together so you can show the people how to heal a trigger. And there's always going to be higher level guidance, always. That is what I discovered, is that that's why my 4th book is called, is The Alliance with Light. There is always infinite spirit, and there is always infinite guidance. There is always infinite legions walking with you. If you allow yourself to continue every day in the affirmation, in the seeking in, I'm always with spirit. I'm always aligned with my higher self. I am always aligned with higher stories. I am always aligned with my health. I am always aligned with just knowing that my justice will be my justice and God will make sure of it. And let go of everything else. You don't have to make anybody believe in your story. You don't have to make anybody believe in who you are, especially if you're a divine feminine wanting to make change on this platform, in your own platforms and in your own world. God will lift you. Stay true to who you are and just speak from your heart. And I've done that from day one. And that's why there are a handful of people that have followed me from earlier KCOR days. And I thank you so, so much, because I've been with you since that day one. And I love you equally, and Mother Mary loves you so very much. The Holy Mother, some mother said, me too. And the Pleiadians and the Syrians. We're doing so many amazing things. So just in like every night when you're going to bed, just like every night go to bed and just say prayers and loving gifts and crystalline energy to all children and all women and all like nature and wildlife. What can you discover about your new life tomorrow? Seek new discoveries. Seek new discoveries on your multidimensionality. It's going to be really fun because these energies we're walking into are going to be so expansive. I haven't had words to put into these things that I've been experiencing, and these veils that I showed behind me. And all of the legions that are walking with me, and as I said, they showed me yesterday, and when I was talking to somebody, they showed me, they opened up the Colosseum, I call it the kind of Colosseum, where it's a round thing, and I'm talking to all these different beings and species, the species of light. And they showed me all of the beings from all different planets and galaxies that I'm helping different galaxies and all these different children and all the hybridized, because I've just found out I've cleared. I don't even know, because I don't focus too much on, which is why they're asking me, celebrate all your accomplishments, Joanna. And I said, well, I can't see what you guys see. I don't know all this. I mean, I know that I'm transmuting a whole lot of darkness. I mean, what the fuck? But for multidimensionally, I don't see all the stuff that I'm activating in other people. Like, they tell me after the fact. They said, you know, what you did yesterday, you just like cleared a whole timeline of this. And I say, oh, okay, that's nice. You know, keep me up to speed. Let me know what's going on. And they're saying, you know, when you let go of that wound and when you let go of that healing, you did this. And I was like, okay, that's good. You know, and I'm very humble about it. I don't, because again, I don't see what they see in the multiverse. That's why Spirit and God and the heavens and all the councils, when you work with light, you have an alliance with light. These councils and these groups and these federations have entrusted you with very sacred information. They've entrusted you to be that pillar of balance. They've entrusted you to go into places where there was a lot of hate and darkness and you still maintained what you could. There's few people that would have not gone. There's few people that would have made it. There's few people that would have come out and had a story to tell and even taught something about it. So even to think just that, for me to have survived is like, okay, accomplishment enough. Let's have a party on that. You know, and then Spirit's like, okay, but there's so much more. Oh my God, you're teaching the multiverse of the things that you've been through. You're feeling the different shifts on planet Earth, on Divine Feminine's voices being heard. There are actual beings, and celebrate this right now. Take a deep breath. In my one discrimination case, there are actual beings that are now taking precedent and taking very powerful step to make sure that I get justice that has never been done before for Divine Feminine of my caliber. That is tremendous progress. That there are higher ups that do have integrity, that are morally aligned, that absolutely know that what I have to offer humanity is going to help all of creation, and that my offerings are going to be moved forward however it is going to be moved forward. And if there has to be very important people taken off their posts, there will be very important people taken off their fucking posts. They don't deserve to be there. If they're paying people bribes and under the table payments to make sure that I don't ever stand up again, they absolutely don't deserve their post, and God will absolutely make sure that the evidence will be seen and shown and they will be taken out. There's a reason why God delayed it for so long, because God was making sure that every important person that continues to do, you know, very dirty deeds, they're going to be found out. And their names will be known across the entire planet and across the multiverse. And they have to choose what timeline they come into next, if they come into another timeline. There will be some people that will just choose to stay spirit because they cannot come into a higher consciousness. They haven't done the work. They cannot come into a 5D consciousness. So they will stay as supportive spirits. You have to understand how spirit goes back into regeneration. Spirit, there's a whole minutia and there's a whole soup. There is a process. Many of us have come to be helpful mediums to help transition spirits into Source Creator. But if they're so messed up in their understanding of God and Source Creator and the heavens, and they have no self-love whatsoever, and they don't believe in spirit at all, many of them will just float around being lost souls. Because if you don't believe anything, how do you know where you're going back to? Their soul will absolutely refuse going back to Source because they don't believe in Source. They don't believe that the whole creation and all the planets just don't go whipping off and banging into each other. No, there is an elegant design, Source Creator. You have infinite lifetimes, source creator. You have an Akashic record, source creator. You will be back again, source creator. You have designs in your DNA that help you with your ascension path and eternal life if you choose to, source creator. You're Pleiadian, you're Sirian, you're Octurian, you're source creator. You want to open up to it, or you want to stay small and blocked and like you don't belong anywhere and nobody belongs to you? There's no God, there's no life, there's no spirit, there's no nothing, there's just matter formed before you. Any basic science class shows you that there is a resonance and there is energy in everything. What do you call that? Do you just call it energy? So what is energy? Do your own research, go do your own lookup, start researching, start awakening yourself. Source creator is all life. Intelligent design. If you start talking to source creator is going to start talking to you back. Start talking to spirits, having a communication with spirit, having a relationship with spirit, spirit talking to you back. There's 20 profound channelers on this globe. 20 really well known. 20 really profound channelers on this planet. And their messages are all the same. You are infinitely, divinely elegant beings of source creator of infinite life, and you belong to all places, all realms, all planets, all experiences. Your DNA is magnificent. Your DNA is miraculous. Your DNA is like the rainbow. Your DNA is like every flower. And you have access to unfurl the petals if you so wish. The lotus flower within you is about alchemizing all of that shadow and integrating the shadow so that you become higher and higher resonance of light. It is the integration of the darkness. It's the integration of the shadow. It is the acceptance of all that is light and dark. Because you cannot be one without the other. Alchemize your 51%, get relationship-wise with spirit. And you will start knowing that things start speaking to you, because everybody on this planet, every human has gifts of seeing and hearing and communicating with spirit in however way they're meant to first unfold. Those gifts expand through time of their ascension journey. If you're working with your gifts and you're being in love with your gifts and you're honoring those gifts, again, if you're not going to use it, you will lose it. If you're not going to appreciate sacred life won't be before you. If you're not going to appreciate the sacred waters will dry up. If you're not going to appreciate the children, they're not going to incarnate. These are basic laws of universal truth. You're not going to be given something when all you do is spit and abuse it. The animals won't start being here if all you do is shoot them and kill them and beat them up and leave them for dead on the street. Women aren't going to want to come back if all you do is beat them and never give them credit and never lift them up and never support them because you have wounding inside you don't want to look at. While you live a complete lie to everybody around you when you say that you're saying truth when you're not, you're living a complete lie. You don't know what your sexuality is. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you believe in. You don't know what you believe under or of. And all you're doing is just creating more lies and more deceit and more mess. And yet you're not willing to give a divine feminine who speaks out of truth 5 ounces of credit. So there's a lot of wounding going on there. It's called misogyny. There's a deep, deep wound. Go to it. See that darkness and turn it into something that is light. Only you can do it. Nobody outside of you can do it. And don't ask somebody that you've abused to heal your demon entity. Don't ask somebody that you've abused to give you money to help you out of your criminal acts and your criminal behaviors. They're not going to do it. The door has been closed. I said no. I called everything out 6 years ago. I ain't going to help you. Sit in your karma. Transmute your karma. Everything has to go through my lawyer because you all know what you stole from me. You all know what you did, and you all know the impaling, and you all know the monies that you faltered and you faundered and you fraudulent and you moved back and forth and the offshore bank account. You've all known what you've done. I'm not touching an ounce of your corrupt life. And you will not pull me into your sick ass stories by sending me dumbass people to try and befriend me and try and make me a friend and then pull me into your sick ass cult mess. So that you can scapegoat me one more time to take on the blame and to take more abuse from you. My God, your abuses have stopped. God will not let you touch me. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Calgary, everybody in Calgary, everybody in that cult, everybody is connected with you, all the financiers, all the spellcasters, all the warlocks, everybody that has been abusing me for money, for my destiny, for my essence, every single one of you will be stopped. You will be veiled. All the spell work will be returned. There will be no more abuse to my life ever. For all timelines, for all eternity, you will not ever touch my soul. Ever. Ever. I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to be your scapegoat. I'm not going to be another lie you're going to tell. I'm not going to be the place you dump on. I'm not going to be your next bed you're going to hide in. I'm not going to house you. I'm not going to give to you. I'm not going to give a penny to any of you. Everybody in Calgary, you know what you have done. Utter lies, utter falsification, utter corruption, thieves of spirit, thieves of the soul. You are thieves. I'm calling you out. I will never work with you. I will never connect with you. We're not buddies. We're not pals, ever. Stop trying. You will be blocked on every turn. You know what you stole. Go through my lawyer. That is the end. I said it in every video. And I will call the police. If you send anybody to try and hit me and take me out, you will be stopped. Everybody will be stopped. I have legions of the billions walking with me. You will be stopped. Your attacks are done. Stay away from me. I have my right to be exactly who I will be. And I'm going to heal millions, if not billions, on this planet. I know who I am. I know why I'm here. Stay out of my way. And God will assure it. Stay out of my way. You're either going to tap into your destiny and why you're here and heal your wounds, because I'm not your issue. Go in and get your own life force, get your own sandwich, make your own money, choose your own business ideas, choose your own business opportunities, go get connected with spirit and do your own channeling and do your own psychic ideas. Stop taking from others, stop stealing from others, stop harvesting from others, stop lying. Go and heal your wounds. I will not stand down, I will not silence. The people deserve to be treated better. The people deserve policing systems and judicial systems and people in the city, people everywhere, banking, lawyer, insurance, real estate. People need people that don't take bribes and money to make innocent people fall. Call it out when you see it. Call it out when you experience it. Corruption is corruption. Call it out. Stand up for those that didn't have that chance to speak, because they were impelled with sacrifices before they even knew what happened. Because most people on this planet don't know how to work with energy. They don't know how to work with their fields. They don't know how to work with their chakras. They don't know how to work with God. They don't know how to work with source or creator or their higher self or their guides. They don't know how to do protection work. They don't know how to do light work. How many people have died just in this one case? I know how to work with my energy. I know how to protect my energy every night, because they impale me and they attack me every night. How many people are taken out because of the backfire, because of the return black magic, and because of people that don't know what they're doing because of the utter misguidance and ignorance? Utter 100% benign, dark ignorance. Zero intelligence in anything that they're doing. It's going to return. They're going to have to eat it, and they're not spiritually protected. There is no entity that will protect these people. None of them. They will not be protected on any level. And they will get eaten and they will succumb to whatever demons that they tried to send and project anywhere. They're eating their own black magic. Nobody's doing it to them. It's their own black magic. As I told them 6 years ago. But I didn't know anything back then, so Divine Feminine doesn't know anything. Right? Isn't that what they're touting and why they've continued? Right? We'll see. As you can tell. No, I'm going to speak my truth. Not standing down. I survived. I'm celebrating that. That's what I've discovered. I have one hell of an aptitude and capacity to just be with light, to be with God, to be with Source, to be with love, to be with Gaia. I don't need a billion friends. I don't need $1 billion in my account. I don't need a ton of stuff. I don't need people saying this and saying, I don't give a fuck about what people think about me. I don't give a fuck. I know that God will always lift me and God will always take me to things because I know that I can transmute. God knows that I'm the only person that God can call. Mother and Father are the only ones that can call me to take me to wherever I need to go. And they'll make sure that I have food, and they'll make sure that I have 1 or 2 people to just say, you did a great job. Way to go, Joanna. That's all you need. The superficial things you've been taught and told that you need that doesn't mean anything. Who are you as a soul? Who are you? And if you claim stuff, and if you claim your successes, and you claim this and you claim that, that doesn't say anything. Who are you? Who are you as Source? Who are you as Spirit? Who are you with nature? Who are you with the children? What voice do you have? What voice do you carry? Does your spirit align with your voice? Is your spirit, when you speak out of your mouth, when you speak your affirmations, is it your spiritual voice? Call all your light in right now. Take a deep breath. Open up your pillar of light. Have all of the light from the heavens bathe down. You're calling in your higher self. You're calling in the 13th dimension aspects of you. Calling in all your soul fragments. Calling in all your soul light. Calling in all the threads that are you. Calling in all thought forms that are you. Call in your light. Call in your light. Call in your light. Call in your light. Take a deep full body breath. Lift your cavity. Lift your cavity. See your cavity being filled with light. See your chakra spiraling around your pillar of light. Call in all that you are. Call in all that you are. Call in all that you are. Feel yourself ground to Gaia. Ground to Gaia. Ground to Gaia. Have your ancestors come in. Call forward all your soul fragments. Gather your soul fragments. Build a circle in and around you. You can go like this, a circle. Do a circle. You're calling in, you're infolding, you're infolding, you're infolding. You're calling all your soul fragments. You're speaking as a spirit. You're speaking as a soul. You're speaking as your ancestors. You're speaking as Gaia. You're speaking as your sacred Trinity. You're speaking as Mother, Father, God. You're speaking as your aligned higher self. Take a deep breath. Ground. I namai dedication namai dedication namai dedicate namai dedication namai dedicate lan namadicate yanamakai dedication yanamarai dedication namarai dedicate nai dedicate na. Are you speaking the full voice of spirit? When you're grounding and you've called all your aspects in, you're a soul-infused being, and you do circles in front of you like this. You're in-gathering all your soul fragments. You're in-gathering your soul fragments. There is not a part of you that is not in you. There is not a part of your soul fragment from Pleiades, from Sirius, from any wounded child aspect. You are the full. It doesn't matter if it's a wound. Doesn't matter if it's a dark spot. It doesn't matter, because you got that all. Never be afraid of anything. Call all that you are back into thyself. I call all that I am back into thyself. I am whole. I speak on behalf of my spirit. Thy name is. I am that I am. And say it with grace. Say it with pride. Say it with discovery. I am that I am. My cells are now listening. I am that I am. My cells are now listening. I am that I am. I am awake. My cells are listening to thy voice of reason. And when I am soul infused, I speak with clarity, with refinement, with knowing. Because it comes from here. That's how you know you are soul infused. And just like that, we turn on. Just like that, we are aligned. Just like that, we are aligned. It's not wishy-washy and back and forth. I don't know. Let me think about it. Let me go ask somebody to see if I'm okay right. No, I know who I am. I speak through thy voice. And the soul, the throat chakra becomes clear. And it vibrates surety. And it cleanses the densities of people saying your voice didn't matter. Yeah, my voice does matter. Because I speak for all creation. There are beings of other planets and other dimensions and other galaxies that are with me in these teachings. They bow to me. I don't care if you don't bow to me, because you're not my only student. Do you see? That is alignment. That's alignment. Speak of the alignment of spirit. That is calling life over your life. That is spirit saying, no, you are spirit, you are godly. Speak that. Godly. I speak of godliness. Why? Because I am that I am. My name is that I am. I've transmuted. I know that minutia. I know that sandwich. Can you talk about alchemy? Do you understand alchemy? Do you understand light language? What does your light language sound like? What planet are you working with today? What are you excited about today? What are your likes? What are your dislikes? Who are you? And then somebody comes to you and says, well, I've been testing to see if you're worthy enough for me to be in your space. And I've been testing all these. I've been sending my minions to watch you. And I've been sending all these people to watch you. I want to make sure you're worthy of me. Well, the question should be, are you worthy of me? Because I haven't done any tests on you. Come as you are. Don't show up. Why did you feel the need to test? Because you're insecure? What illegal forms of interviewing skills have you done? Abusing privacy laws and technology and sending your minions to have monitoring spirits plotted all around me. Have I asked of any testing of you? No. That's divine feminine. We just honor respectfully, and I will read your field when you get here. Are you worthy to stand before me? Why is it okay for the double standard that you test me, nth degrees of testing, human experimenting, to see if I am who I say I am? Can I stand in the power of being in your worthiness? I shall bow.
And yet have I done one test on any? But no, if a divine feminine stands up and speaks her truth, oh, well, you have no right to say that. You have no right to say those things, but it's absolutely true. Why is it okay for you to abuse systems and technology and human rights laws and privacy laws and technology laws just to say if I am who I say I am? Well, you could have just asked. You could have filled out a normal application. You might deal with people that lie through their noses and through their teeth. I don't lie. I am that I am. What are you going to find out with your monitoring spirits? That I do exactly what I say? I'm in nature 90% of the time. I have no circle. My circle is me and God and my nature spirits. What else are you going to find out about me? I get a coffee in the morning, I do my workouts too, and I speak with Gaia, I speak with nature because that's where I'm more comfortable. That's where the vibration is highest for me. What are you going to find out in your testing? What are you going to find out in your illegal recruitment? Am I worthy? Did I do any testing of you? And is that a company I want to partner with? It's okay for you to do all of this, but what about my rights? Where's my balance? Yeah, I'm putting it right back in your corner. We're playing tennis, you see. Because I've never had the ball. I didn't even have a racket. But all of you felt in your misogyny and in your abhorrent abuse of everything. Your abuse of power, your abuse of money, your abuse of resources, your abuse of energy, abuse of technology, abuse of Privacy Act, abuse of human rights laws, abuse of the spiritual laws. You've abused everything to see if I am who I say I am. Well, how about you just accept me for who I am? I accept you in your abhorrence. I accept you in your disgracefulness. I'm just calling you out on it. I don't care either way. Your karma is going to be your karma. I don't give a fuck what you believe. I'm calling you out for your abhorrence. But it's a double standard, is it? It's okay for you to put these tests on anybody that you so choose because you're an elite and you have the money and the people to do so. What about those of us that don't? This is one test that God gave all of you, but none of you see this. And I'm going to give it to you right now. All of those at the highest of the highest and the highest that are now on my behalf doing these investigations, this is what they know that nobody else does. The reason why God allowed for the money to be held back for so very long, God is proving to you in my last statement that I just said. Write that down, dear lighted ones. That's discrimination 101, and you're bringing your planet up to a new level of fairness and equality. That money was held off because you know why? Even if I had the money, I would have never abused it. And I would have never abused technology. I would have never abused the people. I would have never abused energy. I would have never abused little minions going to watch people, to go and stake people out, to go and stalk people, to go and make sure they're doing what they're doing, to go and put minions on people, to go and make sure they're not cock blocking people, make sure they're not having sex with anybody. All of these people that everybody's got their hands in my fucking life. And even if I had billions, I still would have never treated anybody the way I've been treated. And that was the primary reason God left that money held back for so long. God could have blessed me 10 times over. There's so many reasons why God is doing what God's doing and why things are unfolding right now. Watch the rest of this summer. Absolutely, Mother, Father, God, the source, the creator, the alliance, the legions, the federations, and all that is spirit, they are beckoning on my behalf. And I'm showing you story after story and truth after truth, and all of you will see it with your very own eyes. Even if I had had all the money, and God is showing why and who gets lifted when they get lifted. The righteous will be lifted and the truth will be lifted. The prophets will be lifted. Because when they do get the money, they will never ever treat people the way I've been treated. They wouldn't abuse. They wouldn't abuse technology. They wouldn't go in behind the back door and they wouldn't look at their medical records and their privacy records and they wouldn't look at their government records and they wouldn't look at their social insurance numbers and they wouldn't go and do the stuff that's been done on me. And that's why the top of these top people that are now standing on my behalf, they know that. I've been stumbling without a penny, 2 pennies to scrape together. I've had nobody but spirit. And this is why these people are coming forward now, because if this girl can survive what she survived with just spirit, my God, there's got to be truth to it. And because why? They don't want to see such corruption happen to what is supposed to be service of the people and the people's money paying these people. Wait till the people find out of the people's money going to pay for what is to try and take out a world healer, a master of the highest royal lineage. And these people have that to live on their soul story. These people have to live with that in their soul story. They tried to take out a royal healer of such lineage. And that's why I say to Mother Mary, please forgive them. Holy Mother, please forgive them. Because I am doing that bowing for them. But they don't get that either. So if you think you see the world in the way that you see the world and there's nothing going on, then you're not healed on any level. Because millions and millions were spent to try and throw me off and derail me. And I stood true to who I am with God. Mother, Father, the Holy Creator, Source Creator, the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, the Syrians, and all the beings that walk with me. I didn't look into anybody's records. I didn't go to anybody's bank accounts. I didn't send minions. I didn't send monitoring spirits. I never sent one black magic spell. I didn't send any sacrifices. I didn't go and pay anybody to do anything because I didn't have any money to. They took it all. And then they have the balls to say, I wanted to make sure that you were going to be worthy of all these things I have coming. And I'm going to bless you with this and this and this. I just wanted to make sure you're going to be worthy of my giving to you. Does that make sense, dear lighted ones, if you draw it out? If you're given something of the purity of your heart, and yet you put them through human testing to make sure they're worthy, is that a pure and generous offer? And the Holy Father would say, no, it isn't. As Jesus said, give all that you have, and wax not your bags. Because if you're doing something out of the purity of your heart, you would never human test. You would never send minions to monitor them. You would never send people to spy on them and to put things on their phone to track where they're going and what they're doing and who they're doing it with. And you would never do illegal recruitment and interview processes just to make sure they are who they say they are, without even picking up a phone and saying, hey, how you doing? This is who I am. I'm a part of your human collective. Want to play? I mean, that's the kind of natural thing to do, being human and all. Maybe even book an appointment to do a FaceTime. But none of that was done. No validation, no verification, no communication, no relationship, no connection. And that's the problem with today. No connection and no relationship. They just think they can spend money and do whatever they want to abuse every law under the sun. And then they say, I'm going to give you a donation. I want to feel like doing good to you. I wanted to make sure you were going to be worth my money to give to you. Does that make sense? How would you feel of receiving anything from somebody that just spent the last year doing illegal tests and experiments? Would you take the money? Somebody wanted to date you. They do all the record searches behind your back because they got money. They hire private investigators to go and search you up, and they search your bank records, and they search your medical records, and they go do interviews with everybody that thought they've ever known you. And this is just somebody who wants to maybe take you out on a date. They want to see if you're worthy first. How does that sound? And then I say back when the tennis ball is in my hand and I have the racket and I send it right back to you, did I do any testing of you? Did I use any of my money to send any monitoring spirits towards you, or do death spells or rituals or confusion spells over your court case, or do forgetful spells on what the damage that you've done to me? Did I do any spells on anybody researching your banking records? Did I do any spells on you to go and look into your IDs to see if your IDs were actually what they say they were? Did I do any searches and send monitoring spirits to go and watch you? I just wanted to make sure you were who you were. Okay, so you've broken every law, and then you want me to accept your gift with grace? No, thank you. You're not worthy to be before me. You're not getting the lesson. You ain't getting it. And dear lighted ones, when you're speaking on behalf of the Christ mantle, you'll have to look at things that hit you deep within your heart and your belly. Because there's a double standard. And women that are going into leadership, and women that are going into be leadership healers, and going to create great cities of light under the divine plan of Mother and Father, you're going to have to stand before those that have the resources and the people and the old oligarchic ways and the old misogynistic ways that say, well, I've got the money, this is what I've always done. But there are privacy laws, you know that, right? We sign papers when we go into a bank and deposit money or take out a GIC. We absolutely sign papers when we're talking with lawyers about what information we're allowed to share back and forth. It's called the Financials Act law. It's called the Privacy Act law. Look it up in your country. You don't have any right to go into any technology system and target anybody. Governments will be held liable. Offices and groups and secret businesses will be held liable. So again, every business, every corporation, every leader will have to look at why they've done what they've done and how they've done it and what arrogance and what laws have they crossed. And God will be lifting everyone for their own lessons and their own reasons. And I've given you one very small lesson just right now. There was a reason why the monies were held back. For God to show everybody what level of double standards and what level of abuses and what level of laws that were abused. When I didn't have any money to do any of it. And even if I did, I wouldn't have, because I wouldn't. That's just not who I am. If I absolutely trust anybody on a personal level, if Spirit has me coming in to meet a soul partner, it's already pre-planned and predestined at the highest level, and it's a high vibrational soulmate, and it's done. And God say, it's just going to come to you when you least expect. It's going to be in a miraculous way. You don't ever have to worry about stuff. You don't have to do the routine of illegal investigations. A soulmate is a very magical experience. Why would you ever do that type of logistics around a soulmate experience? Again, you're not connected with your higher self. That's how you know those that are connected with the higher self. In any way, if they wanted to give you money, just as a donation out of the purity of their heart, if they were connected with their higher self, they wouldn't do what I just offered you as a story of what has been done. They're not connected. All they had to do is go connect with their higher self. Spirit, is this a good idea that I send a donation out of the purity of my heart because I want to give this person something that's worked really hard for others? This person has been through homelessness. This person's gone through a rough time. I want to do something out of the purity of my heart. Is this okay to give to this person? And Spirit would absolutely say, yes, go ahead. There's the PayPal. You don't have to go around and do all of the illegal things that were done. And what does that say about you? You're not connected. Whatever the reason or whatever the motive is, you're not connected. Therefore, then you're not going to be in front of me. You're not connected. You want to pay for a session, I'll help you get connected, but otherwise there is no other meeting, there is no other discussion, there's no other engagement. I'm not going to engage with people like that. It's abuse. Double standard abuse. Double standard is chargeable in the law of courts. If you have a court case and you show on infinite number of levels how double standard was crossed, it's okay for the divine masculine to act and behave this way, for our systems, for our leaders, for all of the policing systems, for all of the judicial systems to act this way. But when a divine feminine speaks up, how's that okay? I didn't have two pennies to rub together. Where's the double standard? So it's okay for all of this to happen, but one tiny little divine feminine has no justice and no fairness. It'll be shown on multitude accounts. And each and every one of you, as you go forward as leaders of this new earth, absolutely speak from the mantle of the Christ. Because you're speaking on behalf of all of those that this happens every day. You have to have your signature in an interview process to say, there's a job that we're thinking, is it okay if you actually sign this piece of paper so that we can do some background searches on you? And you actually speak about the transactions that are going to occur. And you actually give your permission for that signature. Know your laws, dear lighted ones, because there's people that abuse it. They don't give a fuck. They have money and they have resources and they have people. This is called human rights. And these companies abuse it. And these people with money abuse it. And these people that are so-called elites and famous and whatever they want to call and title themselves a fake clout, that's not spiritual ranking. You're not aligned. So if you think because you have all this clout and you have all this fake importance, I don't give a fuck. You're not aligned if you can't go within you and say, how can I do one nice thing for one nice person? Is it that much of a rocket science equation? No, it isn't. Go in and do something nice. That says so much more in your nobility factor than somebody that sends minions and spy bots and monitoring spirits and people to spy on you and go look at your bank accounts and make sure where your address is of your last known address and go look at all your IDs and where your last transaction was. I would never date you, ever. Why would I date somebody like that? No. Why would I go in business with somebody like that? So if that's what you're doing to somebody that you don't even know, but you want to have a prospective business, what are you actually going to do to a business partner? We disagree. Okay, so what are you going to do? Is that a sacrifice targeting? What's going to happen there? No. Again, everything within is about the relationship and connection. Who are you and why do you do what you do? What are the intentions and the motives about these transactions? If you're speaking on something that you're passionate about, speak it because it's happened to other people, and there needs to be justice. There needs to be fairness. There needs to be new laws. Why does it have to happen? One divine feminine that barely survived, that shouldn't have survived. God brought me back 4 times. Why is it that one divine feminine that barely survived, why does it have to get to that point? And how many people died before me? In today's day and age of so-called aware and so-called accredited intelligent leaders and professionals, if they're so professional and yet they again, the double standard, these intelligent professionals and these intelligent elites and these intelligent people that have been in their roles for so very long, they know everything. This one divine feminine that doesn't have any accreditation, and yet she can be a better leader far over all of you. Why? Because I'm aligned with my heart and the heavens. That's all I need. I don't need to prove anything to anybody, and I won't do illegal tests, and I won't abuse the laws. Just like you did 800 times. Double standard. Double standard. The test that I was put through, beyond ridiculous and laughable. And I'm writing about it in all my books, and it's going to come out in every detail. So you have to carry that mantle. This has not been fair on any level. And why do you think divine feminine have been erased? Most divine feminines say, like, what the fuck, I quit. Fuck that. It's so unbalanced and unjust on every level, and they've made it that way so that you never step into your power. Why? Because a divine feminine in her full power, when she's balanced in her divine feminine masculine energies, there ain't nothing that we can't do and we can't achieve. And we're going to bring every abhorrence. We're going to bring every disease. We're going to bring every imbalance. We're going to bring it up and we're going to heal it, because that's what we do. Because we are aligned with divine relationship. And we know how to connect. We know how to bring people together. We know how to see exactly what's been unfair and how to make something unfair really fair. We don't have to run circles around people who say, no, this is how you actually do it. It's actually quite simple. You could have saved yourself a whole lot of money and a whole lot of people coming into your mess. You just brought a whole bunch of people into your private little mess. So now that something that should have been sacred and something that should have been like a date and something that should have been like a new employee, now you brought a whole bunch of people in on it that didn't need to be. Now it's just been a tangled web of mess, and you got to clear that now. I'm not touching it. I'm not getting involved in your mess. Because why? Because your motives were not pure of intent. Your motives were to get as much information as possible so you could have a leg up, so you could make a better decision, so you could always have a leg up over someone else. That's why those people do what they do. They call it a business strategy, but it's really not. They just want a leg up. They want to win. It's competitive. And they will never win because they're not doing it from the connection of their heart and the heavens. And that's why they will not be in partnership with me. That's why they will not be a date with me. That's why they will not be a partner with me. That's why they will not go out for dinner with them. Because they play everything like it's a win-win game. How can I get a leg up? How can I make sure I won't be rejected? How can I make sure that I make my story stand firm? How can I make sure that it's my narrative and not nobody else's? Why don't you just absolutely just pick up a phone, book an appointment, spend the $233 fucking dollars, and have a FaceTime and be an actual human? How about you do that? How about you actually level up, grow up, heal some of your issues, and then you stand before a divine feminine that's healed that will call you out on your shit. And if you get mad about that and if you get triggered about that, you're not ready. Because I'm a divine feminine and I'm creating new worlds, I'm creating new platforms, I'm creating cities of light, and there has to be a man that's going to level up and be fucking noble and stand in their integrity and their truth and not lie and play games and abuse the laws. Are you 5D or are you a wounded 3D man-child? Because you haven't healed your issues. There would be no woman that I know, that I would ever know, that would do any testing on a man. And be very cautious about anybody that talks about go and test them. Anybody that puts you through tests, anybody that makes you go through the psychological bullshit of back and forth mind games, emotional games, spiritual games, and they test you on your prowess, they test you on your loyalty, they test you on your divinity, they test you on this and they test you on that. And they haven't even sat down to have a coffee. We say, hey, what's going on? Like, who are you as a spirit? Let's go for a walk in nature. Let's talk about life. I'd rather have somebody, I'll wait till 5D. I'm not dealing with anybody like that. just games. Games of disrespect, games of breaking all laws because they can, and they will. While the divine feminine, the one that's on the other side of the tennis court, waiting for the serve, we don't have the resources, and we don't have the people, and we don't have the money. And anytime that we are held up high by God, only by God, very few will step forward and give us the credit. Because they're still trying to figure out how they can get one leg up. How can they run the scheme? How can they run the play? Well, first of all, love isn't like a football game. You're not going to run a play. And all the little tactics to get a leg up, to find your way in, could have really been done if you were just like noble and benevolent and you just connected with your heart and your higher self and said, how can I do something that's really kind and good? I'm feeling like kind of giddy and kind of happy about showing my vulnerability. I want to show who I am to this person. I'm really excited to maybe partner with them, or maybe do one project, or maybe go out for one lunch or something, or maybe, give them something, or maybe do something. I'm just excited in some way. Spirit, guide me and show me. And Spirit would have just said, there's the PayPal. Try that first. Because, she has been targeted for decades. Psychologically and spiritually and mentally and emotionally, bounced back and forth like a half-dead mouse in a bunch of feral cats. So what do you think would be the most appropriate thing to do? To keep testing her? To make sure that she's worthy of you? How about you're not yet worthy of her? How about you sit down and do some more healing and really think about the double standards that everybody practices on a daily basis. What's fair, what's not fair? What have Divine Feminine been putting up with for eons, and what's no longer okay? Business, government, bank. Why the banks, why policing would believe any other story over a Divine Feminine just because she says she's a psychic and a healer? No, we're actually leaders, and we're going to be making new systems, and we're going to be creating cities of light. And they require people that are actually going to level up and not abuse the systems and the laws just because they can. And you'll be laughed at by a few hundred people that have been in power forever. And sometimes the only way that they're going to get out of power is just by them passing. Because they're going to stick to their misogynistic, really arrogant ways where Divine Feminine will never have a word or a say. And they'll use double standard, and they'll use the laws, and they'll abuse the laws. And they'll try and twist and warp stories, and they'll come on the little chat forums, and they'll try and ask you a question to pull information out of you so that they can warp it and twist it later, and then put it in another false claim. And then come on with their little fake avatars because they're so noble and trustworthy. They're working from the most highest level of integrity. They come on with all of their fake avatars. And how many avatars can they go in a day? If you actually searched up their IP addresses, they're creating about 25 to 30 fake addresses and avatars a day. Thank you, Chloe and Cluedo. I love you. You're going to be carrying the mantles, and you're going to have to stand strong, and you're going to have to understand what double standard is. When is the double standard used and abused on you and others? When are the voices of the innocent? When are the voices of the truth tellers not even heard? And we're just expected to sit back and think, wow, that's really a great thing that you did. No, you just abused about 8 laws. Or you could have just booked an appointment and had a normal conversation. And if you're not even willing to do that, you have a lot of issues you need to heal. If you can't even face anybody because you're afraid they're actually going to see the truth in you, you're not ready to face your own truth. So there's always a motive. You can always work your way around these manipulative con men and con women and little witches and little warlocks. These little shapeshifters. Little, what are they called? Trickster energies. I'm a master at working around trickster energies. I can profile anybody. I've had good practice at it. So again, call out what you need to call out when it's being egregiously unfair. When you've been treated so unfairly, you can't even get up and make a goodwill dollar for the day. Because there's groups of people, what was said, they've made it absolutely impossible for any of their, what did they call it? What did they call it, Spirit? Obstacles. They've made sure that their obstacles were not movable.
They put up so many obstacles for me to make money and be seen and be successful. That's my destiny, because that's my destiny. My destiny is I'm meant to be a world healer and teacher. That is my destiny, and I will be it. God will lift me. Doesn't matter what their obstacles they place in front of me are. About all these elites that have been paying money to make sure that I will never be seen or never be heard. And they're going to create little doppelganger clones that kind of look like me, that say they're spiritual healers, but they're not. They're just demonic conjurers. And they're all getting karma now. And they're getting sick and they're getting disease because all their karma is backfiring. So they said there's no way they can move through these obstacles. There's no way that she's going to make money. We've made it impossible for her to make money. So whatever blocks and whatever veils are on my PayPal when people just want to send in a donation, who knows how many people have sent in an actual kind and good donation that I didn't actually ever receive. And fooling with my mail and all of the other things that have been done. Again, it's been impossible for me to ever be lifted, except by God. And this is where God will have everybody, it will be seen. God will lift. God doesn't need any 3D human to, no, God's going to lift, God's going to lift. So if you want to be an arrogant idiot, you want to be a dick about it, go be a dick about it. You're the one that's going to sit in your karma, and you're not going to come into a light timeline. And your body's going to be diseased, and your body's going to be sick, and you're the only one that's going to sit with you and say, wow, was that really worth it? Was my inner wounding for my own mother and my own inner issues about divine feminine, my own issues about who I am, my own issues about not accepting myself, my own issues about my own self-rejection, my own issues about whatever your issues are, was it really worth it to project them to one divine feminine healer who's meant to, who will be lifted to her destiny? It doesn't matter what 3D bullshit is placed before me. It doesn't matter what 3D bullshit is placed before me. I will be lifted. That is God's will. Thy will be done. Amen. And anybody that tries will absolutely continue. Every day will get karma. We'll get karma, we'll get karma, we'll get karma. And it ain't me doing nothing. That is the legions, that is the ancestors, that is God, that is Mother. When Mother said, my daughter will not be touched, I will be the higher self of everybody that has been abusing you. And they will start to manifest karma, and they will manifest themselves out. When the mother says, my daughter will not be touched, the daughter will not be touched. What part about that do you not get? Because they don't believe in the mother. So sit in your karma. And then I will press charges on all the laws that you've abused and all the rights that you've abused of mine and all the time that you've wasted, the distress, the emotional, mental trauma, the PTSD that I still have to heal from the egregious human testing, because you are just so arrogant in yourself and your insecurities. You had to make sure that I was worthy. How about you're not worthy to be before me. You need to move on. Go find somebody else you can play with and abuse and manipulate. I'm here to create cities of light for the heavens. I'm a multiverse healer. Stop wasting my time. I'm not going to prove anything to anybody. I know who I am, and I'll run circles around each and every one of you, grouped up or singularly. See you in court. And the mother will make sure of it. And the Father will make sure of it. I have my rights, just like Daniel, just like Lee, just like Daryl Anka. That channel's for Bashar. I have my rights to be treated with respect and honor. I am a multiverse healer. I'm a multiverse wisdom keeper. I'm a very ancient soul, and I walk with legions of beings. I walk on all realms. I walk in the night. I walk in the morning. I walk in the oceans. I walk in the air. I walk on realms you don't even know about. I have nothing to prove. Get out of my way. That is my right. And my children will benefit from that right, and every child after here unto, and every lineage and every generation ever born. And my energy and my vibration will be ringing through this planet. Just as Jesus's, just as the Masters, just as Saint Germain, just as Archangel Michael, just as Raphael, Jophael, all the angels, all the fairies, every master. That's who I walk with. So you put me through any more tests and you see where you come up with. Again, it's just zero recognition, zero relationship, zero connection. So just let that be. All you ever have to do is connect with your higher self. Your higher self will guide you without going through the mess of those idiotic tests. You could have saved yourself a whole bunch of money and time and effort. You'd never had to go through any of that bullshit.
You just connect with your higher self. Okay, well, I don't know how to talk to my higher self. Well, why don't you start there? Because if you're not connecting with your higher self, why would you ever do anything? You're wasting your time. You're going in the wrong direction. You're connecting with the wrong people. Again, it's everything that we teach. None of the damages, none of the losses, none of the court cases, all of the violence, all the things that have been done are absolutely 100% unnecessary. All you had to do is connect with your higher self and heed spirit. You're not going to have who you want to have. You're not going to have your win. You're not going to always be in the winner's seat. You're not always going to be out front. You're not going to be the attention whore. You're not going to be the attention person that stands at the front of the room that's always being told they're great, but you do nothing at all. That's not your work. If all you want is attention, if all you want is to be told great, then go to those people that want to do that for you, because that's not true leadership. All you're doing is climbing on the backs of others to make things sound like it's yours. It's not yours. It's not actually yours because you don't know who you are. So start there. Again, same message. Go within, start there. Again, we're going back in circles. Always a circle, always a circle, always a circle, always a circle, always a circle. That is the mantle of the Christ. It's very simple. There are no more double standards. Divine feminine will be lifted equally as all divine masculines, where our voices are equal. Our lives are equal. We are profound healers. We're profound leaders. And there will be those that will be lifted and they will receive their abundance. All of my clients, they will receive their abundance. They've earned it. My clients have been the hardest working clients and they've gone through so much. They deserve their abundance and they will receive it. That is my anointing on them. And their anointing will be protected. And call unto that protection nightly, dear clients. You deserve what you've earned. This is your ascension and you've done the work. Take up your staff, wear your mantle of the Christ, of goodwill and light and promise and beautiful, beautiful dreams for all children and all life and all nature and all legions and all hybrids and all celestials and all planets and all realms and all dimensions and all universes be brought together as one. This is Gaia's wish. And Gaia will be brought back into her fold. She will be a part of the galactic family. That's her right. And I speak on behalf of that. She's just saying, thank you, Joanna. I love you. Thank you, Gaia. I love you, Gaia. Thank you, Holy Gaia. Thank you, Holy Gaia. And your ancestors are your divine guides that help you remember who you are with Gaia. Your shamanisms, your herbs. When you were working with herbs, healing people, all of your ancestors help you renew and activate those gifts, skills, and talents. And again, what we said in our last show is so important between now and the end of summer. Practice your gifts and skills. Because that's how your ancestors and Mother, Father, God are going to keep the higher downloads coming to you, because you have to practice those higher vibrational gifts and skills and talents. You have to practice it. You have to practice. And again, I showed you in this video, and thank you for moving through this video with non-judgment. Thank you to my clients that had non-judgment. I showed you what it feels like to go through a trigger and then to openly work through it, right? And to show that, you know, we're going to be moving forward in some very profound times. There's going to be great, great shifts that are going to happen on the planet. And it's important that we speak our truth and how it feels to be abused and to be attacked, how it feels to be discriminated against, and what are the positive transactions and what are the positive actions that we can do as all of my healing work, healing workbooks, healing templates, healing classes, showing you how to call in all of your soul fragments and all aspects of you so that you're speaking from the highest honor of your light. No, it's not okay. There's no more double standard. Double standards is not fairness. Having only 5% of our human collective receive and be of continuous receipt that's not okay. When the majority of our population is living in poverty and they don't even drink clean water. And what of the presidential race and all of the presidents and all of the leaders of the world, what part of their presidential speeches talk about clean water for all people? That's how you know a good healer. It's not about business. It's not about business agendas. It's not about business motives. No, it's about healing the people and having better connection and relationship with all life. Because if there's no connection and if there's no relationship, there is nothing but separation and war. And we've gone down that route before. That's where we're at right now. We must rebalance. And how do we do that? Inner connection and inner relationship. Who are you? Anything that comes up, divine feminine, divine masculine, deal with it. Honor the triggers. Soften into the triggers. It's where the light is.
And have those that you can call on to say, let's work on this together. We're a human collective. We're leaders of the new world. Let's do this together. Let's work together in creating better unity and harmony. We've done the work. We've done the healing work. We can show people how to transmute the demons and the devils and the darkness and the shadows. There's nothing to be afraid of. But systems need to change. No more corrupt legal court cases. No more judges being paid to make things go a certain way. No more bribes and no more city payments going back and forth to Photoshop people into crime rings and all of these things to make certain criminals walk free. No more corruption. No more black web. Every child will be held safely. Every child voice matters. They have a destiny. This is New Earth. So I'm asking you for this week, be so very grateful. It's a very profound energies. 1 month until the Lion's Gate portal. So you have 1 month. What discoveries have you had upon your whole awakening journey? What have you discovered about yourself? What are your likes? What are the dislikes? So that you can say, I'm going to start manifesting my new timeline. And that timeline comes from the center of your being. Why? Why do we talk about the center of your being so very much? Because it's your proof that you've healed those chakra wounds. It's your proof that you're working with your chakras. It's your proof that you're paying attention to that pillar of light. It's your proof that you are centered and grounded and you're present in the moment. And you're feeling for what is going on right here. When you're speaking with spirit, it's right from this belly. It's from the I am presence. It's from the I am space. I'm enfolding who I am. That is your alchemy. That is your proof. It's the center of your being. And that center of your being lifts life to you and brings light into you and then spirals light into your chakras, and anything that needs to come forward to be healed, it will. That's why we always get you to return to the center, return to the light, and all your chakras spiral around that pillar of light. Anything that needs to come out to be faced, to be accepted and honored and then valued as a part of your story, then write about it. What did you discover? What did you discover about that density? What did you discover about that double standard? What did you discover about children not having clean water? That's how you become a part of the relationship of unity consciousness. Why? Spirit is saying this. Why? We don't need to get rid of anybody. Inclusivity, that's how you harmonize. Inclusivity. You have to harmonize what you think you want to get rid of. It's your shadow. Go there. Why did we say what we just said? It's very important. And this comes from your systems of light. It comes from your celestials. It comes from your guides. Why did we say what we just said? Why do we talk about the center of your being and your chakras? And the light and the stories that resonate from there. And when you speak the powerful voice of spirit, practice when you're in bed tonight, practice when you're in the shower, speak your voice of spirit. Align your chakras, call all your soul fragments in, gather your soul fragments, and then speak spirit. You'll see the difference. You'll feel the difference. It'll be your proof. Why? Because your passions are from the center of who you are, and they align you with all that you're here to be as a destiny. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, with all your gifts, your talents, and your skills, and your teams are here to help you. The systems of light, the Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Arcturians. Why? Because they're your family. And they're here to help you to move into being an eternal being, returning into source eternally. You're just doing it in human form, which is very, very miraculous and rare. So it all makes sense. It's all about the relationship and connection you have with you and your chakras. Take all the time that you can to go back to yourself. Your relationship and your connection with you is everything. And your teams are here to inspire and empower you and enhance you, just as we are with the children. We're here to inspire, empower, encourage, and enhance their future, just as the celestials are with us. That's right. Thank you for your comment. Thank you, Chloe. And if you can even think for one moment like that discovery, we want you to think about discovery. We want you to think about being curious this week, right? We're going to start a new week. Can you be curious? Can you be more curious about spirit? Can you be more curious about nature? Can you be more curious about your chakras? Can you be more curious about spirit speaking with you all 24/7? If you want.
right? You have to, if you are super sensitive and you do have clairsentience, you do have to say, okay, let's turn that down. I'm really tired because it can be overwhelming, especially if you're not used to, being in commandmentship of your bodies and your gifts and your skills. So we want you to be curious about spirit, be curious about your gifts, be curious about your talents, be curious about how you're communicating with spirit. We want you to build relationship and connection. But we want you to, as Chloe just put a beautiful comment, we want you to see about how peculiar, how strange, how weird and mysterious and miraculous is all of creation, is all of divinity. If you just seek with that intention before your feet hit the floor, because your creation, remember, as to it is, so too it will be. Your consciousness is responding to you. So the more curious you are, the more peculiar you are, the more curious you are about all things, it's going to return itself back to you. The systems of light are going to show you celestial, alien little moments of energy, of divination working through you and with you. So be curious, be discovering of new ways that you can talk to spirit in new ways, in nature. So go out and say, today I'm going to see all things as new and miraculous. I'm going to see all things as new and peculiar. I want to see new ways that spirit can speak to me. I want to know more ways that divinity can live through me. Because why would you want divinity to live through you? You want divinity to live through you? Why? Because you're a grand soul and you're all things. That's why you never want to ever cut anything out. You just want to say, okay, I accept it as part of the darkness. And as I showed you earlier in my video, part of that transmutation was for me to do the bowing and the forgiveness on those that couldn't. And that's part of my role as a teacher, as a healer and a leader. And that's how you know a good teacher and a healer and a leader is when they bow for others. Because it's not about me, it's about having the heavens forgive them. So all the things that we show you in our classes and in our sessions and in our being vulnerable and in our showing how to work through triggers, there's more to all things. That's God. God will show you the infinite stories. Just as God shows me, even the money's being withheld, God shows me little bit by every day why things were happening the way they were. There's things going on behind the background I have no idea about. And then God will bring it forward to me as I'm doing my liturgies, as I'm doing my sermons. So then that makes sense. I relax a little bit. Okay, thank you, God. I didn't know that. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, my higher self and my teams. I've got so much support. I'm always safe. Always. I never worry about my safety, ever. I've faced the most tragic demons. It's just a part of creation. I transmuted it. It's okay. I can help people transmute their devils, their shadows, their wounds. You got to face it and it's not comfortable, but you can do it. You have a destiny. God gave you that experience. God gave it to you, so you can transmute it, and you will be healed. If you've punished me, and if you've stolen from me, if you've degraded me for decades, and if you've lied to me for decades, if you've stolen from me and left me for dead and homeless for 3 years, I'm not going to heal your demons. You have to go through God on that. Because I asked God, what is my part in this transaction? And God said, that's their karma. They have to come through me now. So I've already asked God. Because I already felt it in the field. You wanted me to heal your demons of those entity attachments because you know that I can. Of course I can. I told everybody 6 years ago I could. But you had to find that out your way. That's okay. But now you go through God. Because you lost your grace with me. And I had given so very much. I'm a very generous soul. But I'm going to be very choosy on who I give to. And who stands before me. There will be no more tests. There'll be no more double standards. Divine Feminine will be lifted. We're not idiots, and we're not going to be taken for less than and stupid. We deserve equal and fair pay on every level because we're here to heal all women in this world that birth all children. Thank you to my loyal, beautiful clients that are helping with the chat room. I love you, and you'll be blessed. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm asking for Mother and Father and all of the angels. Please bless all of my clients that are allowing this to be a respectful space for loving and unity consciousness for the Holy Word of Mother and the beautiful counsels of light that allow us to live in our expanded states of divine consciousness and divine expression. Thank you, Holy Mother, Father, for all creation. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Please protect them while they sleep and give them abundance and blessings to their highest path. Thank you, Holy Spirit, as I pray for them. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you. See, I'm giving back tenfold because you've given to me. Because you've helped me create sacred space. Thank you. I love you. I love you, my clients. You're beautiful.
and you will be blessed. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for all their blessings. And so this week, dear lighted ones, it's a beautiful week. We have 1 month before the Lionsgate portal. I'm going to be doing a special event on Lionsgate portal. It would be just meditation. We're going to be connecting with spirit guides. It's going to be a guided meditation. It's going to be a guided healing. It's going to be a guided whatever our ancestors and whatever the guides come through. We're not going to do any class or any teaching or anything. It's just going to be a guided meditation, and we're going to take in whatever energies spirit wants us to take in. So that's going to be a really big one. And so, yeah, so this week is all about discovery. So get practicing. What can you discover new about yourself? What can you discover new about God speaking within you, that rumble within you, that spirit is now becoming greater? When you discover the multidimensionality, this 5D plasma gate, ask for it. Say, I want to discover these new 5D gate plasma energies. Can we discover this week? And ask for your celestial teams to bring that into you, to bring that into your infolding. So ask for that discovery of the 5D plasma. It's really cool, because some of you that have been on the path for you, some of you that are my clients, absolutely you're ready for it. And it's really cool. It feels like, it just feels like jello, you're jello in your brain, and you're seeing all these beautiful, cool things. That multidimensionality that is it's not a vision. It's different than a vision. It's an actual experience. And so it's really cool. Really cool. And you get to see your spirit, your spiritual family. They're not your guides, they're spiritual family. They're always with you, right? And so ask for your spiritual family. There'll be certain beings, like I have a little being that comes with me all the time. He's been with me for all my lifetimes. We had a beautiful conversation this week. He's a little gnome, and he has such very powerful energies and such powerful powers. He can transform into a being, and he can transform into whatever he wants. So sometimes he shows up to me in human form, which he did this week, and he kind of freaked me out because I thought, what are you doing? You're normally a gnome. And he says, well, I can do whatever form I want. And I said, well, now you tell me. And so we're playing around with, seeing ourselves, move different aspects of form, right? So you can do that. Ask to see your family, but you can ask to see them in form too, because he was standing behind me, and I said, no, you need to stand in front of me. I don't want you standing behind me, because again, I've been attacked for 10 years. And so he's laughing. So I said, okay, no, if you want to come towards me, just stand in front of me so I can see you. I don't like the behind me, standing behind me kind of thing. So again, that's still part of my healing. So, but absolutely discover your celestial families that are with you. Sometimes they're gnomes, sometimes they're fairies, sometimes they're elementals, sometimes they're tree spirits. There's lots of tree spirits, and they come in different forms. So are there rock spirits. So every part of nature has a spirit to them, and they can manifest whatever form that they need to for you, that you're used to them, because it depends on how many lifetimes, how many timelines, how much your consciousness is connecting with these different nature spirits. But they can maneuver themselves into whatever form they want. Gaia is very profoundly, and plus two, sometimes your celestial families are working with nature spirits, because that's how they get comfortable with their energies, with your energies. So also know that too, but discover that this week. So seek that in your discovery this week. Discoveries with your celestial families, discoveries with new energies with Gaia, and ask for that infolding of the 5D plasma infolding. What does that feel like? How can you see your visions differently? How can you discover yourself in higher vibrational visionary skills, right? Because we want to start reaching up for all the enhancements that have been done on the brain, the archetypal, why can't I ever say that word? So you can look that up on your own. Although what Google says and what I teach in my classes about the enhancements of the brains, I teach channeled material about the brain enhancements. Google will just show you what that part of the brain is about. So it's good to do that too, so that you know. The OCCIPITAL lobe, it's a highly complex aspect of the brain that helps us with visioning and receiving visions and informations about visions. This is why it had to be enhanced, because we're going to be seeing things that aren't going to be logically available. Like, how is that logical, right? We're going to be seeing the illogical. We're going to be seeing the mysterious. We're going to be seeing the miraculous. That's how we have had to have our lobe enhanced and changed. And two, some of that is releasing old beliefs and old energies. Your teams do that with you, about releasing things about linearity, about time, past, present, and future. I'll have to do a whole different class about that. That's a different topic I want to talk about, because there's some real, again, that 5D perspective on timelines that don't make sense. That is why you had to have the archetypal lobe enhanced. It's also about the retina mapping, how we see things and how our brain sees the trunk of a tree all the way up to the top of the tree. Again, how we've put information together has been very linear. And it's been based on structures of what we were taught and told and shown, but now we're basing it on consciousness. All things are consciousness, all things is alive as well as source creator. So when you start there, you're absolutely remapping how the brain has to think of itself and what it actually sees. So that's where I want you to, when I talk about in my classes, the enhancements to the brain, I want you to go beyond and above. That's the capacity and aptitude factor of being a higher vibrational being, because it's going to help you unpacking the higher vibrational downloads that your systems and teams, and of course that 5D plasma gate, because some of it's not going to be it's not going to make sense. It's going to be like, what the fuck? No, if you see a light ship just appear out of nowhere, how was it there, not there before? And how did it just get there when there's like things there? So you're going to have to see things in a non-logical manner, right? And visual memory. So again, I can't wait to have my next class. We're going to do a lot about the brain, because when you're talking about visual memory, when you know that a tree is a tree, what about that tree can you see differently? So again, this week is all about discovering something new about what you see, allowing the enhancements of the brain to have taken place, open and soften. Don't logically get there to the end of the story, because that's what we do sometimes. As high functioning, high creative beings, as high celestial beings, our brain, I'm just giving you an example. From somebody that's high functioning in a very 3D experience, we get to the end of the story before people have even started the first page. And that's what's very frustrating about being high functioning, about being a conduit, about being a psychic, about being a celestial in human form. It's like pulling teeth in kindergarten, right? Because it's just like, okay, get there already, get to the answer already. And I've already done circles around people while they're still trying to open up the first page. So what we're saying now in 5D, you're absolutely not going to want to get to the end of the story, because that's how I've entrained myself, just because it's been that difficult to be in such dense energy. So in 5D, you're just going to have to soften and relax back and say, okay, show me what I need to see from that higher aptitude space of higher consciousness. There's a difference. So if you write that down and then just let that soften and then see what that code is for you. When you allow for whatever to be seen from the highest consciousness and just soften into it, as opposed to getting to that end story already. Because some of you that are highly psychic, some of you that are psychically sensitive or hybrids, you're already going to get to, you see it in the children today, they already get to the end of the story before you've even started. That's how genius these children are. So you're going to have to re-entrain your brain not to do that. You want to absolutely just soften what needs to be seen from the highest consciousness perspective, and you want to discover new things. You want to precognate the story, right? Because you want spirit to do that. That's where the genius and the miraculous, that's where all the juice happens. That divine relationship. Let God do what God's work. You're the one that's offering divine relationship through you. You want to see the highest potential of that 5D plasma, of your celestial family, of your celestial friends. Then you want God to do the rest. You want your teams to do the rest. You want your higher self to do the rest. You don't want to get to the end of the story. Let God do the end of the story, because God's going to do it 10 times, a billion times more than you could ever imagine. That's the surrender. But it's good to know the occipital lobe and what that lobe does, what that lobe in your brain does, and how you're going to see yourself. So I would suggest, if you are into doing your own ascension work, I would take a part of the brain once a week, and I would just take one part of the brain, see what it says on Google, and then in your higher download sessions with your teams, say, how can I move in a higher aptitude and capacity on what enhancements of my brain are going to be moving into, and how can I ask questions and seek and practice so that, I'm practicing a higher enhancement. Because we want to keep entraining our brains higher. Because a 5D brain is not a 3D brain. You've done your clearing. You know that there's miraculous things. You understand multidimensionality. You understand that things are very malleable. You're understanding that your consciousness has a lot of power over matter now. So it would help that you understand, the enhancements of what's been going on in your brain and how really profoundly it's going to change your vision. So your third eye is a part of it, but your human eyes and the parts of the brain that actually, your brain actually sees, your eyes are just the tool to see. So your brain is doing so much for you to actually see things, but because you're going to choose to be multidimensional in a new 5D experience, you want to offer yourself in that door.
because it's super, super cool. And again, you're the commandmentship of it. This is why I teach commandmentship. Your commandmentship is of you. So that's why we've done the preparing, right? So discovery is going to be big this week, and then feel into how you can discover your new celestial friends. And thank you for all those that have been such beautiful purveyors of respect on my platform. I thank you so much. And we're getting there. We're all kind of learning our way and navigating our way through these things. And eventually there will be just all respectful comments on my platform. So I know that that's my intention, and that's where we'll get. We're getting there, and we're getting there together. So I love you and I appreciate all of you. And so, yeah, part of the logic that they're showing me right now, Chloe, so it's good that you mentioned that, and then we'll just close on that. Part of the logic that we're just going to do is, as we said, draw it out, is just the infinity. So before you make a life choice, are you tuning in with your higher self? What is my part in this transaction? What is the path of the highest and lightest, likes and dislikes? Right? So pay attention to what feels light. Pay attention to what feels exciting. Pay attention to what feels passionate. What's going to drive you in 5D is not going to be what drove you in 3D. Again, the pillars have changed. So that logic should only be, does this make sense if I draw it out? Where is going to be my highest intention for passionate creativity, for passionate respect? As I said earlier, I gave you many examples of my particular path, of those that may approach me to do business or partnerships, or even if it's if they liked me on a personal level. I gave you those experiences. Say, if I draw it out, is that going to be a logical choice for me? No. You just broke about 8 laws trying to find your first leg up and your higher leg up and to get your one over on me. So no, it's already an imbalanced experience. Not interested. Again, is it equal measure or is it not equal measure? Is it respectful or is it not respectful? Is there a motive behind it? What's the motive? So that's where you can draw that logic. Is it going to make sense for me to go on this path? No, actually, I'm just going to go and do it on my own. Because I know it doesn't matter what's taken from me, I'll build something 10 times over, and God will always lift me. I don't have to worry about other people being involved and getting involved in their engagements and their messes and having that be something else I have to try. I've been doing that for 50 years. I'm not transmuting anybody else's stuff. Everybody's on their own. I'm going to do my own thing. Because I've built it on my own. I'm self-made. Nobody ever had permissions to use my work. Nobody can claim or nobody can say that they've made me. Is complete and utter bullcrap of the grossest negligence on anybody saying such a statement. Nobody has made me. That's a joke. Anybody to say they've made me? Seriously? I've been on my own for like 15 years. Celibate for 15, estranged from my ex for 8. I've been on my own for 8 years. Nobody's made me. And sure hell hasn't been somebody that's done nothing but attack me because they're so insecure about who they are. Nobody's fucking made me. And again, the testing, we're not even talking. I've told my ancestors, don't let anybody in that's been doing the testing. Like, who the hell are they? Who the fuck is anybody to test anybody? Did I sign up for something? Did I sign up for a job to say, okay, you can test me any way you want? Did I give you my permission to test me? Did I give you my permission to falsify my signature? Did I give you my permission to take my work? Did I give you my permission to say that you made me? Did I give you my permission to say that anybody had any right to take my name into court and speak on behalf of me? Did I give anybody right to say that they had an insurance claim on me? Did I give anybody right to say that they had any right to take my mail or my money? Didn't give anybody any rights. So many laws were broken, so many offenses. No, but I do know how to speak for myself. I do know my laws, and I'm going to call everybody out that abuses them. Because at some point, there will be one divine feminine that will be lifted on this planet. And she will anchor in the divine mother's grace for all Gaia, for all divine feminine, for all heavenly divine feminine in this galaxy. Divine feminine will be rebalanced. That is my destiny. And I have every ounce of right to it. Amen. That is my name. I'm an ancient soul. I ain't going nowhere. I'm taking Gaia home. And anybody wants to come for the ride, you're more than welcome. But divine feminine will be seen and heard, and she will be anchored with very great grace and humility and bowing because we deserve it, and she does. Thank you, Holy Mother. 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 The mother is going like this. She's so beautiful. Thank you, Holy Mother. Thank you, Holy Mother. Thank you, Holy Mother. She's so beautiful. She's so graceful.
She's wearing this big, beautiful white gown with long sleeves. And she's going like this to all of her children. Thank you, Holy Mother. Thank you, Holy Mother. So beautiful. So grateful. So thank you, dear lighted ones. We love you so very much. Be discovering of yourself this week. We want you to look for new ways to discover yourself. What makes you happy? What makes your body feel light? What makes your body feel healthy? What makes your body feel clean? What makes your house feel clean? What makes your rooms feel clean? Which makes your, do some spring cleaning if you can. Simplify your life. Clean things out. Clean out the, the little corners of your house, to get some chimes and get some bells and do some chimes and bells and clean out the energy of your house. Align with your energies and call your celestial families. Are really looking forward to you calling them in. If anybody wants a private session, $233 for 90 minutes. My PayPal is paypal.me, Joanna L Ross. So anybody that's had a session with me, do you have any feedback on any of the sessions? Is there anything that you found that's changed in your life? If you wanted to put a comment down. Have you had anything that's come forward in your life of the benefits from a session? Have you found any more clarity, confidence, understanding of spirit living through you and speaking through you? Feel free to send me back any feedback. I love your feedbacks on private sessions because it helps other people to know how a healing session and an activation session go, what you get out of it, how it makes you feel connected and you're building a better relationship with yourself. All of those things are great information. Yeah, thank you. It's more than worth it. Oh, thank you. I can't wait to hear your findings. We'll have to book another session in another month when you have some time to go through some practice work and go through some of those things that we talked about. I can't wait to hear about it. I can't wait. You're going to be setting yourself up a business very soon. So feel free. I always say after usually 2 weeks, I give everybody 2 weeks after a session, and then send your feedback on what value you had from the session. Was it of great value? How are you feeling more connected? How are you feeling of greater alignment? Because it's all about alignment, right? I show you how to trust in your intuitions, trust in your things you're getting, trust in the downloads, trust in the direction that Spirit's guiding you. And then I teach you how to reconnect and keep going back within and asking the right questions and then trusting yourself in those answers. Yeah, so provide a feedback whenever you like. Give yourself a couple weeks and do your homework, right? Go back to the video and then make notes and then ask questions with Spirit and then do the investigations that we were looking into, the discoveries. I like to call it discoveries. Sounds a bit more fun. And so the discoveries are all about, why we're saying discovery is because you're connecting back with the sacred child. We want to let you have fun, right? The Holy Mother wants the children to play again. The Holy Mother wants the children to celebrate. Oh, they did say something yes. Okay, so here's what they said before you leave. This was a little channel that they gave me. Many of you have been in the trenches for a very long time, and it is time to come out and to be celebrated. So there will be many gifts and blessings to all of those of you that have been in the trenches for a very long time. And so we'll be a part of celebrating, and we'll be a part of being lifted. And Mother, Father, God wants so much for all of you to know how much beautiful work that you've done, just showing up every day, just bringing your light forward every day, bringing creativity every day, bringing positive change and positive intentions. So just know that there is great things coming for you. We want you to start there. That's why the discovery sounded so fun, because it lets you remind that you're in a big playground. There's so much to discover, as if you were a teacher for, a whole bunch of new students to Earth, right? We want to pretend that there's maybe hundreds and millions of children that are going to be reawakening to who they are, and the hybrids and the celestials and all of the beings that are going to be coming to Earth. And this is their playground. So how would we introduce them discovering who are we? What do we have to show about our planet and how we've changed and how we've healed and how we've come together, how we've changed the corruptiveness and how we've changed to go within and heal ourselves. So all of those things are so important, and for you to discover within yourself that you can do so much transforming within yourself that there is nothing you can't get through. And hopefully with my stories, just absolutely knowing you can manifest anything as a 5D. Your 5D manifestation is going to be so beautiful for you to manifest on your own. This is why Mother, Father said you will be receiving manifestations, because you've been in the trenches for a while and it's time for you to be lifted. Mother, Father have so much joy in blessing the children. We all know as parents what joy we have of giving our children the things that make their hearts happy. So absolutely know that for yourself. And so, yes, so just know that. So want to be playful and talk about discovery, talk about being curious, talk about looking for the peculiar things in life, calling it forward, because that's God playing with you. That's creation playing, that's Gaia playing with you. Remember, as consciousness is being observed by you, you're observing it in a whole new way. So we want you to be discovery about every moment of your life. And then ask the entanglement of spirit, ask the entanglement of love, ask the entanglement of source, creator, mother, father, God, and all of your celestial teams. The more that you ask for it and the more that you're open to it, oh my God, you're going to see things shift. So by the next time we have our next video, you're going to be bringing so many, I hope you, if you can, jot them down, so then in our next video we can discuss them and we can put them down in our comments. That's what I want the chat room to be for, about the things that you experience, the things about your alignment, the things about your learning and your processing, and being vulnerable and allowing people to help you and allowing yourself to be lifted, and also speaking up for those that didn't have that confidence to do it. So just know we're doing so much. We're doing so much. So I'm so very proud of you. So thank you so much for always being such beautiful, beautiful clients and beautiful purveyors of our beautiful wisdoms and teachings of multiversality. Thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable in some of my pains from the overkill of bullying and abuse, and we're all healing it together. So thank you so much for helping me with the chat room there. And my intention is for our chat room to be held with beautiful multidimensional findings, multidimensional experiences that you're all having to support others on their path as well. Because they're going to be going through some new things, and maybe you've had experiences and visions that, I can't bring forward. So please use the chat room for those things. So I love you all so very much. Any donations and any sessions, go through my PayPal. Thank you so very much, and I love you all deeply. Hugs and kisses and rainbow light to each and every one of you. I love you. And don't forget to call in relationship and love to all of the beautiful beings, and send prayers to the children, send prayers to the animals, send prayers to the ocean, send prayers for clean air and clean water for all humanity. And we love you.